This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news, intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversation. 96.9 FM. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Good morning. The Bahamas joins a joint effort to hold U.S. gun makers accountable for crimes in the region. Eviction notices issued to shantytown residents in Abaco. And Toby Smith, heading out of the Prime Minister, says he feels betrayed. It's all straight ahead this morning. I'm Dwight Strachan, and this is Morning Blend.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. You know that it's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning again, Bahamas. It is Wednesday, March 22nd, 2023. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Again, I'm Dwight Strachan. In a moment, Chester Robards will be joining us. Also this morning, we're going to get a preview of Island Foodology. We've got a farmer's market coming up. They're going to tell us all about that, what you can expect on Saturday with that event. And then in business, it's Forestry Week. We are talking about that and protecting our natural resources here in the country. That's all straight ahead on this Wednesday morning. But first, it's time for the overnight, the latest breaking news from while we're sleeping, and the top national and international headlines this morning. In the overnight, Prime Minister Philip Davis announcing that as part of a broader effort to reduce the impact of gun violence in the Bahamas, the country joined a friend of the court brief in the United States in their Court of Appeal in the First Circuit in support of Mexico, which is appealing its case to hold U.S. gun manufacturers liable for the harm caused by their products. The Bahamas, joined by Antigua and Barbuda, St. Vincent, and the Grenadines and Trinidad and Tobago, as well as Latin American and Caribbean Network for Human Security, a network of NGOs and affiliated professionals specializing in international humanitarian law and seeking disarmament in the Latin American and Caribbean region. The brief states that unlawful trafficking of American firearms must be curtailed at its source, the U.S. gun industry, and that the gun manufacturers and distributors from a single nation must not be permitted to hold hostage the law-abiding citizens of an entire region of the world, and notes that the governments of the participating countries, quote, have a solemn duty to protect the lives, health, and security of their citizens. The UN has shown that firearms are key enablers of high homicide levels, according to the brief, and notes that despite comprising less than 1% of the world's population, the Caribbean records 23% of all global homicides. In other news, a month after a Supreme Court judge lifted an injunction that prevented the demolition of shanty towns in the Bahamas, the government issuing over 200 eviction notices to residents in unregulated communities on Abaco. In a statement, the Unregulated Communities Action Task Force said officials from 4 government agencies posted 260 eviction notices in the unregulated communities off SC Boodle Highway. A statement says that the Joint Operations Task Force can report that the atmosphere for this operation was peaceful and calm without any incident. The agencies involved included the Ministry of Works, Department of Immigration, the Police Force, and the Defense Force. Works Minister Alfred Sears advised Parliament last month that the Cabinet reconvened the Shantytown Task Force. The immigration officers who were captured on video attacking 2 Haitian men at a barbershop have been placed on administrative leave. That's according to Immigration Minister Keith Bell. Bell confirming yesterday that the men were in fact immigration officers. After initial reports suggested that the men were dressed as immigration officers, he said the matter remains under investigation. In the video, 2 immigration officers dressed in green fatigues are inside a business on Bacardi Road confronting 2 men who have since been identified as Haitian barbers, 33-year-old Gary Filius and 38-year-old Wilfred Senatus. Both officers slapped the barbers multiple times. The Haitian men then walked out of the store with one of the immigration officers walking behind them. The officer then draws his hand back into the air and slaps one of the men. The man was hit so hard that he was knocked to the ground. Bell, speaking about the process, saying that the investigation is done and the officers concerned have been placed on administrative leave until the investigation is concluded. He says he didn't think it was appropriate to comment any further on the matter yesterday. A court clerk charged with forging fine receipts. A 33-year-old Cruzel Nottage, who worked as a clerk in court number 2, faced charges in connection with a fine that her boyfriend was ordered to pay for violating bail conditions. On January 30th, Magistrate Samuel McKinney fined Jason Jacks $500 for the offense. He was to pay $250 on January 30th and the balance of $250 on February 6th. Prosecutors say that Nottage produced invoices showing that the fine had been paid, when in actuality $20 and $50 were paid. Nottage faced 4 counts of possession of forged documents and 4 counts of uttering forged documents at her arraignment before Chief Magistrate Joy-Ann Ferguson Pratt. Nottage also faces charges of forgery, possession of forged documents, uttering forged documents, fraud by false pretenses, falsification of accounts, and extortion in relation to a case before Senior Magistrate Cara Turnquest DeVoe. On March 9th, Nottage is alleged to have received a payment of $5,000 towards a $9,000 fine in the case of Linda Lee Alcedor. Nottage is accused of receiving $5,000 from Eric Roll under false pretenses and possessing a forged receipt for that sum. There's a lot more. You can read about it in today's Nassau Guardian. And CEO of Paradise Island Lighthouse and Beach Club, Toby Smith, says he feels betrayed by Prime Minister Philip Davis for failing to approve his proposal to develop a project at the western end of Paradise Island. But he conceded he had never received any written commitment from Davis that he would allow the project to proceed if elected to office. Smith claimed that in opposition, Davis told him that he's against Royal Caribbean International having a beach club at the site, and that when elected he would approve the one Smith presented. But while Davis, in opposition, expressed opposition to the project that RCI was proposing, and while he expressed the view that the Bahamas should receive preferential consideration for project, or that Bahamians should receive preferential treatment for project approvals, he never stated publicly that he would approve Smith's project if elected. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Davis says his administration's deal with RCI for that $100 million beach club on Paradise Island is fundamentally different from the one that was made under the Minutes administration. Speaking during an event on Exuma on the weekend, he was responding to questions about Education Minister Glenn Santa Martin's opposition to the project. Davis said, quote, "If the deal is what we rejected or spoke against while we were in opposition, I would have had the same position she has today, but the deal is fundamentally different. I think once she understands what the deal is about, we will see what happens." Overseas, Russia launching exploding drones that killed at least 4 people at a student dormitory near Kyiv before dawn today, just hours after Japan's prime minister left the Ukrainian capital following a show of support for the country. The same day, Chinese leader Xi Jinping left Moscow after discussing his proposal for ending the war, which has been rejected by the West as a non-starter. A high school and 2 dormitories were partially destroyed in an overnight drone attack in the city of Rishikhiv, just south of the Ukrainian capital. It wasn't clear how many people were in the dorms at the time. The body of a 40-year-old man was pulled from the rubble on the dorm's 5th floor, according to the regional police chief. More than 20 people were hospitalized, and a few others are unaccounted for. Ukrainian air defenses downed 16 of the 21 drones launched by Russia, according to the Ukrainian General Staff. 8 of them were shot down near the capital, according to the city's military administration. Other drone attacks struck central western province. The drone barrage and other Russian overnight attacks that struck civilian infrastructure drew a scathing response from President Volodymyr Zelensky a day after Xi and Russian President Vladimir Putin discussed China's proposals for negotiating an end to the war. Meanwhile, Japan's prime minister pledging today to provide Poland with development support to help the European country assist neighboring Ukraine as it defends itself from Russia's invasion. The Polish prime minister hosted Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida in Warsaw a day after Kishida made a surprise visit to Kyiv and met with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. Japan usually provides a type of promised aid to developing countries, which Poland is no longer, but the Japanese government is making a special exception. Kishida said it was crucial for like-minded countries such as Japan and Poland to remain united in their support for Ukraine and in furthering sanctions against Russia. And Ugandan lawmakers passing a bill prescribing jail terms of up to 10 years for offenses related to same-sex relations, responding to popular sentiment, but piling more pressure on the Eastern African country's LGBTQ community. The bill was passed late Tuesday inside a packed parliamentary chamber, and after a roll call ordered by the House Speaker, who had repeatedly warned it was necessary to identify those who might oppose the bill. It was supported by nearly all of the 389 legislators present. An earlier version of the bill, enacted in 2014, later was nullified by a court on procedural grounds. Human Rights Watch has described the legislation as a more egregious version of the 2014 law, which drew widespread international concern and was struck down amid pressure from Uganda's development partners. The bill now will go to the president, who can veto or sign it into law. He suggested in a recent speech that he supports the bill, accusing unnamed Western nations of trying to impose their practices on other people. The bill was introduced last month by an opposition lawmaker who said his goal was to punish promotion, recruitment, and funding related to LGBTQ activities. This bill creates the offense of aggravated homosexuality, which applies in cases of sex relations involving those infected with HIV, as well as minors and other categories of vulnerable people. It was not immediately clear what the punishment is for that offense following last-minute amendments in a protracted plenary session in the capital of Kampala. The bill also creates the offense of attempted homosexuality, punishable up to 10 years in jail. Same-sex activity is already punishable with life imprisonment under a colonial-era law targeting carnal knowledge against the order of nature, partly the basis of a report by dissenters on the parliamentary committee that vetted the bill before Tuesday's vote. In sports, the 50th Oak Tree Carifta Games less than 3 weeks away, and the remedial work appears to be nearing completion as it relates to the track surfaces at both the Thomas A. Robinson National Stadiums. The track at the new stadium has been completely completed, while the work on the old track remains ongoing. Also, there's a significant amount of work to be done to the surrounding structure of the new stadium. The Golden Jubilee Games set for April 8th through 10th, and the final local qualifier, the Bahamas National High School Track and Field Championships and Carifta Trials, will be held this weekend, March 25th through 27th, at the Thomas A. Robinson National Stadium. There are more than 40 qualifiers for the Bahamas' team and more expected at the trials this weekend. With the Bahamas Games looming, the New Providence Sports Council has voiced some concerns about the event that they term unfair to the spirit of competition. Bahamas Games set to make a return after 21 years, scheduled to take place July 6th through 14th in New Providence. The mega event will feature 13 sports at various venues as the country celebrates its 50th independence anniversary. New Providence Sports Council Chairman Roy Colebrook says the concerns mainly have to do with ensuring that New Providence teams will be part of the Games Village, that they are a part of the transport system, and that they have the same rights and privileges as every other athlete from the country. You can read more about that in today's Guardian Sports section. And from the World Baseball Classic, Shohei Ohtani and Mike Trout had dreamed of this moment, along with millions of fans throughout Japan and the United States, the two biggest stars on the planet, longtime teammates facing each other with the world title at stake, and it went the full count. Ohtani got Trout to swing under a slider on the outside corner, sealing Japan's 3-2 win Tuesday night, and its first World Baseball Classic title since 2009. Ohtani, the two-way star who has captivated fans across two continents, voted MVP of the WBC, the World Baseball Classic, after batting with 1 homer, 4 doubles, 8 RBIs, and 10 walks while going 2-0 with a save and a 1.86 ERA on the mound, striking out 11 in 9 2/3 of an inning. Watching the 8th and 9th innings unfold, Japan's first baseman Kazuma Okamoto was in disbelief. Japan joining the Dominican Republic in 2013 as the only unbeaten champions of baseball's premier national team tournament. The Samurai Warriors went 7-0 and outscored opponents 56-18, reaching the final for the first time since winning the first 2 WBCs in 2006 and 2009. No other nation has won the title more than once. So again, Japan beating the USA 3-2 in baseball. That's sports, and that's the overnight. Time for your first look at weather. In your weather for today, we've got a quasi-stationary front that will continue to meander near the central and southeast Bahamas while high pressure builds behind it. Beachgoers should be alert, though, for the elevated risk of rip currents along north and east coast beaches. For today, for the northwest Bahamas, look for partly sunny, breezy, and warm conditions, turning mostly fair and a bit breezy tonight. Small craft advisory remains in effect due to swells. Winds northeast to east at 15 to 20 knots, seas 4 to 7 feet, but up to 8 feet in northeasterly swells. For the central and southeast Bahamas, partly to mostly cloudy and breezy, with scattered showers and the chance of isolated thunderstorms, mainly near the frontal boundary through tonight. Small craft advisory remains in effect due to swells. Winds northeast to east at 15 to 20 knots, seas 4 to 7 feet, but up to 8 feet in northeasterly swells. Temperature-wise, right now, it's about 71 degrees, partly cloudy skies in Nassau. Look for highs getting up to around 81 Fahrenheit, 27 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to about 66 Fahrenheit, 19 Celsius. That's your first look at weather this morning. We'll have your extended outlook coming up after traffic in just a bit. It is time for a break, but when we come back, we're discussing the day's top stories right here on Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9, your home for fresh news and smart talk all day.
My business couldn't survive without my credit card machine from Fidelity.
It's fast, convenient, and my clients love it.
My sales increase, and I can track my earnings.
Get your credit card machine from Fidelity today.
Call 356-7764.
When faced with an illness like cancer, we band together, and we at Cleveland Clinic in Florida have your back. From advanced cancer treatments to extra safety measures at all of our locations, we're with you on this journey. For every infusion and follow-up, for every step of the way, for every care in the world. Cleveland Clinic in Florida. Get the care you need when and where you need it. To learn more or connect with a local representative, visit clevelandclinic.org/Caribbean.
Get your Carifta tickets. The 58th Carifta Games is coming. April 7th to April 10th. Tickets are on sale now. Online at Carifta50.com or at the Thomas A. Robinson National Stadium, Western Grand Entrance. For more details, email tickets@Carifta50.com or call 605-4051.
Carifta is almost here, and Alive has partnered with TCL for you to capture gold at the 2023 Carifta Games. Switch to Alive and get a free TCL 30 Plus or TCL 30 SE on select Alive postpaid plans to share pictures and videos of our Bahamian athletes as they hit the tracks to win gold. Visit your nearest Alive store or mobile van location and come gold with us at the 2023 Carifta Games.
Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Street, has those hard-to-find fasteners for you right now. You can find stainless steel regular hex, carriage bolts, galvanized bolts, threaded rods, nails, self-tap screws, sex bolts, anchor bolts, turnbuckles, masonry tools, hand tools, and weed whacker strings. Check out the rope selection and car body fasteners, too. Special orders are welcome. It's your #1 fastener store. Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Streets. Call 326-1976.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of the new way. You know that it's here. It's the start of the end of the old way. Revolution. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. We are streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. We're also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 and BTC Flow Channel 612. You can tweet us at Morning Blend 969 and Facebook.com/Morning Blend 969. Text us 422-4796. Standard text rate supply on the BTC-powered text line. Once again, I am Dwight Strachan, Joining me now, Chester Robards.
Morning.
Good morning, Chester.
How's it going?
Going well. Great to have you with us.
Glad to be here.
A lot to talk about this morning.
Really?
Yeah. And coming up, our guest, we're going to be talking about island foodology. Ever heard of that?
I've heard of it.
Yeah. They have an event this weekend. It's a farmer's market at Project Ice. All these terms we're going to get some clarification on, but they've got a lot going on this Saturday, and they're going to be featuring quite a bit, so we'll get a preview of that. Later in business, it's Forestry Week this week, and there's always a lot to talk about with the trees. Is the flora one, right? Yeah?
Mm-hmm. Flora, C.
Yeah. C? Okay. And so we're going to be talking about that, and that's a hot button issue these days, surprisingly. But we're going to get into that with them this morning. So a lot to get to, as we said, but let's begin with what else is in the news. And in the news, quite a few stories here. Just want to mention them very quickly. We won't be able to get into all of these. But the big headline in the Nassau Guardian, I feel betrayed. That's Toby Smith. Toby Smith, who wanted to develop the lighthouse. I think he still can. The lighthouse at Paradise Island. But saying he's feeling betrayed by Prime Minister Philip Davis. Claiming that while he was in opposition, Davis, who publicly said he was opposed to the Royal Caribbean deal that was on the table at the time, the Minutes administration, and that he had said to him, but apparently nothing written, nothing signed and written, but he said that when he got in, Davis, he would, fast track, I guess, push Toby Smith's project through, but that hasn't happened. And Smith is acknowledging that. You can read all about that in today's Nassau Guardian. The Prime Minister last week, though, did say that Toby should reapply. Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. There's also an interesting story here about something the Prime Minister said over the weekend in Exuma, making it clear again that this deal is different from the deal that Minas had with RCI. And he was responding to Glenn and Santa Martin, or questions about Glenn and Santa Martin, saying that she doesn't support the deal. And the Prime Minister says, which is a strange thing to say, that once Glenn and Santa Martin understands that this is a different deal, then she may have a change of heart. She is still in the cabinet, right? So she should be aware of the deal.
Are you being facetious?
No, well, yes, but I mean, she should be aware of the deal. Right.
She's aware of the deal. Yeah.
So why when she understands that it's a different deal, she might have a change of heart. Shouldn't she know that it is a different deal? I think she's aware. I don't understand.
Maybe she missed that particular meeting.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so let's read his quote directly. Again, we don't want to spend too much time on this. There's some other things I really want to get to. But he said, quote, if the deal is what we rejected or spoke against while we were in opposition, I would have had the same position she has today. But the deal is fundamentally different. I think once she understands what the deal is about, we will see what happens. As I've said before, the deal has yet to be consummated. There are still some subjects that have to be fulfilled. Some preconditions that have to be fulfilled. Once they are fulfilled, that's when the deal will come to actuality. Mm-hmm. Okay.
The deal coming.
Well, anyway, I think it was very clear what she said to the media, that we should be doing this ourselves, right? Providing the activities for everyone to be doing downtown, as opposed to just handing things, I'm paraphrasing, but handing this over to the cruise lines and other foreign entities. What are we doing? What are we doing? I want you to answer. Yeah, but yeah, that's what she said,
Well,
and so that part is understandable. I hope the Prime Minister understands that too, right? That we really need to have a plan for not just downtown Nassau, but the entire island of New Providence and all the islands of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, right? Yeah. Because there is no plan at all.
So, in my view, this is not even a double-edged sword. This is like a mace, right? And not the one in the House of Assembly, like the ones that used to get beat over the head with on the battlefield, which probably the same thing. But anyway, so you have Bahamians, you have lots of Bahamians with lots of great ideas.
Yeah.
Right? Like Toby. I don't know how extensive Toby's project was going to be. How many people, I don't remember how many people he said it would attract, probably around 2,000, right? I'm of several minds here, and notwithstanding the environmental concerns, there's more that's needed to attract cruise passengers off the ship. Much more. You know, and to declutter Junkanoo Beach on a busy day, and maybe declutter the streets of ATVs like you would hope for, right?
Well,
anyway,
not just
that's
them.
Another story.
Not just them.
But there are lots of Bahamians with good ideas. They can't get these ideas off the ground. And if you are an entrepreneur, if you've been in business, you understand why. It is absolutely almost impossible. I feel like if you get through with a business here, you was lucky. Getting financing is hard. Bringing things into the country is extremely expensive. Cutting through the red tape to avoid that expense is difficult. Finding insurance to insure, because cruise ships are not going to deal with you without insurance,
right,
is, I mean, you might as well be bald like us. Not that we've torn our hair out.
I don't know why we need to bring that up in this, but I get you.
So, yes, we need more things. But you know who has the capital for those more things? The rich people that come into this country.
Sure, but a lot of it, don't you think, the red tape, the frustration that people feel is because of the government and that them are making it extremely difficult?
Do you think that they don't know that it exists?
I think they like it. I think
So that's the question, and they have the answer, and we have the ideas. The banks have the money. All of those things need to come together to make the Bahamas a better place, but they don't.
Yeah. Yeah. Why is it?
Your guess is as good as mine.
I still will say, I'll say it every day. I know you all are sick and tired of me saying it, but it's because of that central government is the one responsible for this. If this were devolved, decentralized, and local authorities had more of a say in what they wanted to see, the plans and what should work and where things should go, if we had management of that kind, it would be a different story. It would be a different story. But central government is looking at some other things and getting all kinds of things mixed up based on past history and who voted for what and whatever. Yeah. And that is causing a lot of the problems we're having today. Yeah. I'm sure it's more complicated than that, but this is why we are seeing it here in Nassau and all of New Providence and in Grand Bahama and everywhere.
And, you know, I don't know all of Toby's history and position, but what's very telling is that I think at some point RCI even considered partnering with him in some way, right? I think he spoke about that. And he's like, no, like I have an idea. I have a dream for myself, not to be with RCI on a project, to bring my idea and my dream to fulfillment.
Yeah, and he said he has investors.
Well, whatever. I mean, the point is...
he didn't really need them.
The point is, he wasn't so audacious that he was just going to be like, yeah, hey, let me go partner with RCI.
Yeah.
But the sad part is that in this country, in a lot of instances, if you don't have a big foreign backer, you're not going to get things done here.
Yeah, very disturbing. Very disturbing. Let's take your call on this really quickly, and I do want to get to some other issues. Good morning. Call you on the air.
Golly, they just talking voice along with you and Chester, Dwight.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Dwight, I want to elaborate on 2 or 3 points, but first I would like for you to explain 2 points to me. Carnal knowledge, what are you really talking about? Explain that to me.
Okay, this is coming out of nowhere. What is this? Where is this coming from? This is about what we were talking about in the world news?
A part of the news, a part of your newscast in which you expressed
in
earlier.
Uganda? Okay.
Say it again?
Yeah, talking about Uganda. Oh, boy.
Okay, what they had said?
Yeah, intercourse, intimacy, sexual relations. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, what I'm asking, right? They're talking as though if something wrong with a person, right?
Okay. I mean, it's a complicated story. I mean, we really don't have the time to get into it. There wasn't we don't have that issue here. That's not against the law here. All these things you're talking about, we have our own laws. Just letting you know what was going on in the parts of the world.
For time.
Okay.
Let me ask you something. What the Prime Minister trying to say in Exuma? Because earlier he expressed that Glenn Hanum Martin hasn't done anything wrong. So what are you trying to say now? You trying to throw under the bus?
I don't think so.
What do you explain to me? What are you saying before I elaborate?
He's suggesting that once she sees how different this project is compared to what was proposed before, that even she'll get on board.
But the thing is, he had said she haven't done anything wrong.
Right, she still hasn't, and
Say it again?
he's not contradicting himself.
No, he's just saying she might change her mind about the project. Mm-hmm. That's all.
Because he
It sounds like he wanted her to change her mind because of what the people asked him. He better don't play with that woman. If he tried to throw under the bus, he should run under the bus.
I don't think that's what it is. But
Say it again?
I don't think that's what it is. He's just saying.
Well, I hope that's not what it is. Because your word's supposed to be about, especially if you're the Prime Minister.
Well, he's trying to defend himself as well, right? Because he was opposed to it, and now all of a sudden he thinks it's wonderful, I guess. And so he's trying to explain why this is so different from what was proposed before that even Hannah Martin will get on board.
The thing is, the point is, Dwight, he held that Glennis Hannah Martin done anything wrong.
Yeah, and I'm
so
sure.
Now he's trying to cover himself?
No, not in that regard.
That's the way it sounds.
No, he's covering himself in that. How come you have approved this, Mr. Prime Minister, when you before were also opposed to it? So he's trying to save his own face. Thank you very much, Freeman. It seems, but this is so different that even she'll like it. It seems, but we'll see. We will see. Okay, one more call, and I want to get to some other issues in the news. Oh, that was. Is it 9 o'clock yet? I'm very tired already. Good morning, call. You're on the air.
Morning, Dwight. Morning. How you doing?
I'm doing well.
And your co-host. You know, Toby yesterday indicated, and this is a problem we have in the Bahamas. Toby indicated that his project started out at about probably $5 million, him and his partners. So obviously he has partners, according to him. They even went up to $7 million. Why would, I'm even going to go back to the former government. Why would you not entertain behemoths that want to invest $1 million, $2 million, $3 million? I mean, it just doesn't make sense why no one would entertain him. You know, like, yes, this is why the freedom of information is so important. You know, because everybody has a story, and then the big outside guy comes in with a big number, 130 million. And so everybody goes crazy with that. What in the world could you put on that little 16 acres that is a temporary situation and the behemoth wants to put 7 million, which from our point is a big investment. Plus that money is going to stay here. So I don't understand. It's amazing that these guys, the foreigners come with these big numbers. I guarantee you, when you look at that project, they say $130 million, but it ain't going to be $130 million. So It's crazy. We have to, at some point in time, realize that the 7 million from a Bahamian is worth much more than 130 from the investor.
I hear you. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Well, I think it's, I don't know if it's all Bahamians. I think some Bahamians get a lot. A lot. It depends on who you are.
A lot of what?
A lot of whatever they want. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So certain people, and certain people are rejected.
Sure.
It would be good to know why. We can come up with some theories, but there are plenty of Bahamians who are doing very well under all administrations. And anyway, I won't even.
Do you know what thought I had? Can you imagine if Royal Caribbean, the project goes forward, right? And they put a big Royal Caribbean on the ocean side of the island, like a big sign. That's the first thing you see coming on a cruise ship.
Yeah, that would bother you?
That would be weird.
No, would it? There are weirder things around here.
For other cruise ships.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, you know what's weird to me? Zombieville, East V Street for 20 years. I think that's exceptionally weird. And here we still are. Here we will be probably in 5 and 10 years. That's the weirdest thing.
Zombieville?
Zombie land? Zombie universe? Whatever you want to call it.
It is weird. It is weird.
Very
it
strange.
Is weird.
For a supposedly tourist capital of the region.
War.
We are jokey.
War broken countries fix up quicker than that.
Right?
After they get bombed.
I'm sure people ask, was there a war here? What happened here? That's weird. But okay. There's not even a sign saying welcome to Nassau anywhere downtown. We haven't seen that. There's a little tiny thing that you have to zoom in to see. But so Royal Caribbean, go right ahead. I don't blame you. But East to East Street, be ashamed of that, folks. Good morning. Call you on the air.
Morning, Dwight. Good morning, Chester.
Hi.
Good morning.
Listen, Dwight Chester is saying it correctly this morning. We might as well call it what it is. Toby started off on a good wicket. He had the right color, but what happened? He must say he put on a necktie or had an empty briefcase in his hand. You understand? That ain't got no money, man. Not compared to RCS. He ain't got no money. That's why he gets sidetracked. Second of all, our Prime Minister, you realize our Prime Minister can't chew gum and tell the truth. And just remember now, Glenys Hannah Martin challenged the Prime Minister for the top spot in the Progressive Liberal Party last time, eh? Y'all don't forget that. Thanks for taking my call.
Okay. Thank you very much. All right. Let's read. Let's read some of your messages here really quickly. This person says here, the immigration... this is another story. There are a lot of great stories inside the paper today. So Keith Bell says... The investigation is continuing. I don't understand why this is so complex. I mean, he'd said how many weeks ago that it would be done, but apparently the investigation continues with the immigration officers who slapped the Haitian barbers. Still going on. Good Lord! But they have been confirmed to be immigration officers. That's how far they've gotten. Oh yeah, they are our guys. Okay, and they're still investigating, but they've been put on leave while the investigation continues.
Wait, what? What?
They've been put on leave while the investigation.
I was only partially listening.
Well, why? The investigation continues. It's not completed yet. After all this time,
the thing that they've gotten to is that they are immigration officers.
Yes, okay. They weren't dressed up like immigration officers, and they've put them on leave while they continue the investigation. What are they doing?
So at what point was it not confirmed that they may not be immigration officers?
We charge people with murder.
What did they do with the guys?
Much shorter
What did
time.
they do with the guys after they picked them up?
Well,
wasn't that confirmation enough? Because I think they carried them somewhere to be processed.
Detention center, but then they were quickly
released. So, we determined long time that they were immigration officers. I mean, Chester is not picking people up off the street and carrying them to the detention center.
We don't know.
What?
You have to say all names because there's a lot of Chesters now. You mean Chester Robards?
Chester Robards.
Right, okay.
Yeah. I forgot.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm still not used to it. There's only like 10 of us in this city.
You sure? But you say you're not picking up. I don't know if we believe you. But sure, that's good. Good to hear you say that.
Okay.
But we are here. How long ago was this when this happened? That was how many weekends ago? It's a while back.
I would also
long enough for the investigation to be done and there to be a decision on it.
I would also hope that if I was bringing my wife in, she wouldn't get stopped.
I'm going to hold it and let me not speak. Okay. Get myself into big problems just now. Boy. Okay. The texter says the immigration officers were placed on leave, rightly so. But what is the punishment to the Haitians for working out of their permit scope, or the immigration officers who approved the barber work permit when it should not have been? Help me, Dwight.
Were they Haitian?
Well, we don't know if any immigration officer approved that. I mean, that hasn't officially been said, but everyone knows what's going on there.
Yeah, because
you wouldn't get a
the permit wasn't
for a
necessarily
barber to be a barber.
Well, it
We
wasn't
don't think
necessarily
so.
that.
It probably
just to
wasn't.
work.
Right. Well, no, it's
I
never
mean,
just to work.
obviously not just to work,
Right.
but to work
Yeah,
somewhere.
Yeah. But yeah, so I guess they're investigating all of it. Still, yeah, a lot of stuff. This is, I don't know who this is for, but just a general statement on this text. This person says, a promise is a comfort to a fool. Okay, just so you remember that, everybody. Another one here, 2023, and these politicians still taking Bahamian people for donkeys, eh? Well,
hee-haw.
It will continue as long as some people act like donkeys.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
I think that was pretty clear.
Who's acting like a donkey?
Well, who isn't? This person here says, Chester, you are so correct. They pretend that they are making doing business for Bahamians easier, but the government doesn't really want us to own a big business. They want us to be laborers, to labor as employees. Okay. This person says they can see us, but they can't hear us online. Huh? Mr. Producer, can you check that out? I don't know what that's about there. Yeah, producer?
Can the producer hear us?
Oh, yeah. All right, so check that out for us, please, Mr. Producer. All right. And this one says that perhaps the Prime Minister should be specific on what are those fundamental differences. Well, I think they've said before that this includes ownership. Bahamians taking an equity stake, being able to get an equity stake in it to buy some stuff in.
One big difference.
Yeah.
The next is that the Crown land has been cut
smaller,
down.
right?
Smaller.
Yeah.
So we assume that it doesn't encroach on what Toby wanted as much. I wouldn't say at all, but as much. But
yeah. Okay. And what is East Street Zombie Land? Dwight, thank you so much for that knee slapper. I've been saying that for years.
They're just tuning in. What happened? Give
welcome
them a
to the
break.
show.
Everybody came and listened to the show.
I see. Well,
They just
be you.
graduated high school.
Well, welcome. Great. I've got a lot more of those. I've given the government a plan to develop a zombie theme park and charge people to enter East to East Street and see if they can make it to the bridge without being harassed by zombies. We don't even have to pay the zombies.
Maybe we could
many
call
of
it
them downtown.
Saw.
I don't get it.
Like Saw the movie?
Okay. Oh no, that's too much.
Yeah, okay.
That's too much. What? No, they'd have to go over the hill. Anyway, but yeah. So I mean, we could make money off the decay, right? We could do it, and that would be unbelievably creative. Like we could get people from all over the world to want to come to see that.
I was like, how you make money off the decay?
What?
Harvest mold?
Make people pay to experience this. We could make you stay in one of the abandoned buildings overnight.
We could grow grubs in the buildings.
We could do a lot of things. Now people would pay. Is it haunted? Are there zombies in there? Can you make it through the night?
Yeah,
we'll put you up.
We have lots of talented people who could craft a story.
I don't think we have to do anything.
It's good. It's good the way it is.
Yeah, just let them do it. Will the building cave in on you? Right? Yeah. Who's in there?
There's a building. Oh, speaking of which, and somebody should check this out and or tear it down tomorrow. But that building at the light at Meeting Street, across from C.R. Walker, that's gonna fall on the road one day.
No, it's just okay. Meeting Street.
That's Meeting Street, right?
Very, very, very close to
Meeting Street and Blue Hill Road.
Very close to falling.
Holler at me in the text line if you know what I'm talking about. That's gonna fall in the street.
Join the club. The building says. Other buildings would say. Yeah. All right. Why do we accept this a month later and we found out that they're immigration officers? Yeah, I don't understand. Another one here. The immigration officer suspended. Okay, but what are those guys working as? What about those guys working as barbers? Yeah, are they still working as barbers? That's a good question. It would be good to know. This one says here, Dwight, honestly, I don't blame the immigration officers. Maybe those Haitians were having hard mouth when being questioned. Oh boy,
we don't take kindly to that.
So that justifies you slapping somebody to the ground.
Yep.
A hard mouth. Was it a hard mouth because just hard mouth in general is bad, or because of hard mouth from Haitians? Which one is the problem? Oh, okay.
I got locked up for hard mouth.
So it's not just, it's for everybody.
That's
who's
illegal. Hard mouth is illegal. In this country. Soft mouth, not so much. Yeah. Mealy mouth, get executed.
Hard mouth with police gets you slapped down and locked up.
Yes, sir.
Well, I think that's generally known around the world, it seems. Okay. Do we give work? Oh, yeah, we're talking about the barber stuff. Well, so we will see. Give it another month. Maybe in July we'll find out about what's going to happen to everybody in this situation. Mm-hmm. So, eviction notices issued to Abaco Shantytown residents. A month after the Supreme Court judge lifted an injunction that prevented the demolition of shantytowns, the government yesterday issued over 200 eviction notices to residents in unregulated communities.
Can you imagine?
How long is the notice for, though?
Is it typically 30 days or something before they tear it down?
Okay. Let's see. I don't think there's any indication. I don't see it. Let's hope. Is it 30 days? I'd be very surprised. Very surprised. Yeah, okay. A couple messages before we take a break. This person says here, recently your co-host was getting a home. Things did not work out. No fault of his. It's talking about you, I guess?
Yes.
He did not decide to just build a house anywhere without permission. If the great Chester, and I suspect it's Robards again, is not allowed to build without permission, no Haitians or their dependents, and they have it spelled like independence, but dependents, should be, period. Okay.
People like to bring up my situation just because I mentioned it.
Well, that's what you,
I keep things to myself on the radio.
That's what you get. But I think nobody will disagree with you, Texter. Right? You need to have permission. You need to do things the right, lawful way.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Oh boy, no, I can't read that one. Do you realize that when they waive this Bahamian ownership fantasy that amounts to a max $1,000 worth of shares, someone on the other end is pushing the deal to cash in on millions? That's the lie they're selling us. And this one says, Toby's featured project is around the lighthouse. They're giving it to him. What property does he really want? Bahamians know they prefer $100 million projects. Eviction notice with no effective is not effective without a date or time to be out by. Yeah, so that's very interesting. I don't see it here in the article. I don't know if that. Why would they do that? What is the point of that? Indefinite eviction notice? We're going to confirm whether that maybe it was just left out of the article.
Yeah, maybe.
But we're going to confirm what the time is. Very strange. I hope to God that is not the case, because we'd really be seen as complete jokers.
I'm sure it's not the case.
Would you be surprised, though? That would be something.
I'm sure it's not the case.
Yeah, an eviction. You've been given an eviction notice, but whenever you're ready. Just know you have to go, but no rush. No rush, but you ain't welcome here. But whenever you're ready. Ah, boy. The eviction notices are only to give lawyers time to file another motion to stop the government from tearing down the illegally built homes. Boy, oh boy. Yeah. And this one says, Chester, I know the building you're talking about. It's gutted and the walls are leaning. Any day now, I expect that to fall.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, boy.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Another one here, eviction notice. It was just a photo op from military force. No date or time. Just go. Somebody don't see the issue, they blind. That is crazy, crazy stuff. It can't be. We're going to confirm. We're going to try to confirm, hopefully before the end of the show. That would be madness. I mean, because you're already told to leave.
Right.
So in writing now that you've been told to leave, but again,
you got to
get yourself together.
Get your affairs in order.
Oh, boy, as long as it takes. Okay. Hey, when we come back, we're going to talk about this. The Bahamas joining a joint effort to hold U.S. gun makers accountable for crimes. What do you think is going to come out of that? We'll get into that after the break. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Stay with us.
We got some jokey leaders in a jokey town. A three-ring circus, what a bunch of clowns. They're joking and they're jiving, man, they messing around. We got some jokey leaders, what a bunch of clowns.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
This is AP News. I'm Rita Foley. The waiting continues as a New York grand jury investigates hush money payments made on Donald Trump's behalf during the 2016 presidential campaign. Will he be indicted? Possibly this week. The AP's Julie Walker is in New York.
A shouting match outside Trump Tower where police and barricades surround the entrance over whether the former president will go to jail or get reelected. Trump predicted he'd be arrested, but the grand jury is still investigating hush money payments to a porn star. It's not the payment, but the way Trump accounted for it that could get him indicted. Alina Habba, Trump's attorney in a different case playing out in civil court, says the DA's case is flawed.
If Michael Cohen is a key witness, as we're hearing, if they're getting debunked testimony from other people, this is speaking for itself.
And Trump is not worried. In Lower Manhattan, Julie Walker, New York.
A lot of eyes on the Fed today, many waiting for its decision on interest rates. Most economists expect the Fed to announce a pretty modest quarter-point hike, given the turmoil that's racked the banking sector in the past few days. Jim Edwards is the CEO of United Bank. He says the Fed should keep up its battle against inflation.
Play the long game, fix this. Could they overreach? Could they overstep? Of course. But, you know, we need to tackle inflation. That's their job, and I think they'll do that. I really do. I've got a lot of confidence in them.
The Los Angeles public school system has been shut down by that 3-day strike involving service workers, teachers, aides, bus drivers, cafeteria workers among them. They want higher pay and better staffing. This is day 2 of the strike, and the school superintendent says he's ready to meet the workers at any time. Russia launched exploding drones that killed at least 4 people at a student dormitory near Kyiv this morning. More than 20 people hospitalized, a few others unaccounted for. This is AP News. A rock band drummer says he was attacked in Florida. The AP's Norman Hall has this story.
Def Leppard drummer Rick Allen says he's recovering from an attack earlier this month outside a Florida hotel. Rick Allen, who was in South Florida to perform a show at the Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino, was attacked while taking a smoke break outside the Four Seasons Hotel on Fort Lauderdale Beach. Police arrested a 19-year-old man but said they don't have a motive for the attack. Police said the assailant was hiding behind a column outside the hotel and ran at Allen, knocking him to the ground. According to the police report, a woman saw Allen fall and ran to help him. The man then attacked her. He was arrested on charges including abusing an elderly or disabled adult. Allen lost his left arm in an accident in 1984. I'm Norman Hall.
The typical home price is now $363,000, down 0.2% from last year. I'm Rita Foley, AP News.
It is time for your first good traffic for the morning, brought to you by RBC. Discover mortgage ideas shaped around you. Here's what's happening in your real-time traffic this morning. At this hour, heavy traffic on Eastern Road from just east of Fox Hill, or almost down to San Souci. San Souci straight up to Johnson Road. You're going to see that heavy traffic there in the westbound lanes. Slow-going traffic for you. Prince Charles Drive looks slightly better for you, but heavy traffic near the major intersections, especially on the way to Beatrice Avenue if you're westbound this morning. Bernard Road also busy for you this morning westbound. And Soldier from north of the intersection with Prince Charles Robinson Road on the way to the intersection with Bernard, Wolf, and Village Road. So you'll be seeing some slow-going traffic northbound this morning. Elsewhere, we've got Blue Hill Road, heavy traffic from just north of Carmichael over the hill to Independence Drive. Independence Drive in both directions, heavy traffic, especially westbound. East Street also busy for you just north of Soldier, straight up to Robinson Road in the northbound lanes. Milo Butler Highway, as usual, heavy traffic from Fire Trail straight up to Tawny Williams Darling Highway, and heavy traffic westbound on Tawny Williams Darling Highway as well. Glasgow Road is busy for you. About midway between Fire Trail and JFK Drive, you'll see that heavy traffic in front of you northbound, and Carmichael Road westbound, very heavy traffic for you westbound to Coral Harbor Road. That's what we're seeing right now. That's your real-time traffic and your morning blend traffic alert, brought to you by RBC. Visit rbc.com/Caribbean/home story to start your mortgage story today. And time for another check of your weather for this morning. We've got a frontal boundary near the southeast Bahamas that will continue to weaken while high pressure builds behind it. Beachgoers should be alert for the elevated risk of rip currents along north and east coast beaches. For today, for the northwest Bahamas, partly sunny, breezy, and warm, turning mostly fair and a bit breezy tonight. Small craft advisory remains in effect due to swells. For the central and southeast Bahamas, partly to mostly cloudy and breezy, with scattered showers and the chance of isolated thunderstorms mainly near the frontal boundary through tonight. Small craft advisory remains in effect due to swells. Temperatures getting up to around 81 Fahrenheit, 27 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down about 66 Fahrenheit, 19 Celsius. In your extended outlook, we're expecting mostly dry and stable conditions to continue across the area for the remainder of the week, courtesy of a building high-pressure system. So for Thursday, tomorrow, partly to mostly sunny and warm. Friday, again, partly to mostly sunny and warm. That's your morning blend weather check. We'll be back with more Morning Blend after these messages here on Guardian Radio 96.9.
At Wendy's, we are different. We don't just use beef. It's fresh, never frozen. Our burgers are square because we never cut corners. Served hot off the grill with fresh lettuce, tomatoes, onions, and American cheese. We believe in fast food done right. Always serving fresh, never frozen beef. Order a hot, juicy Dave single, double, or triple. Made with fresh, never frozen beef. Now only at Wendy's. Different inside and out.
Take some advice from your Aunt Angie. If you want to go scuba diving on your vacation, don't bedazzle your wetsuit. And you think you look great, but what you don't realize is that you look like a shiny, scaly fish. And it won't take long for a shark to notice you. Next thing you know, you're busting out every karate move you got. But if you're smart, you'll have CG medical insurance and get airlifted out to the closest hospital.
Get coverage for emergency evacuations. CG Atlantic Medical and Life Insurance. Good like that. All benefits are subject to policy provisions, including eligibility at the time of service.
Nassau! Join Rise Bahamas online for Imagine Local Government Day, Saturday, March 25th at 11 a.m. Hosted by Naughty with music by DJ Bravo. Play our trivia for a chance to win $500 every hour until 2 p.m. Our speaker is Pat Ramming with appearances by Ed Fields, Valentino Scrooge Brown, and yours truly, Tennille Tada Burrows. Inbox Rise Bahamas on Facebook or email risebahamas@gmail.com to register.
We are called for local government.
Is your 2023 goal to move into your own home? Well, future homeowner, enjoy another payday. Build or buy a home with financing from CIBC First Caribbean, and you'll receive cash back every month for 1 year. A home is one of your greatest investments, so secure one soon. Visit CIBCFCIB.com/homeowners payday for more info. Offer valid from January 9 through to March 31, 2023. Terms and conditions apply.
Technology serves to make our lives better, so why not your business too? At Custom Computers, we've been maintaining our knowledge and relationships with top tech companies since 1987 and carry only the most trusted brands like Apple, Microsoft, HP, and more. No company has helped more businesses build reliable IT systems than Custom Computers. You name it, we've done it. Call 396-1101 to talk to any of our business experts. Find trust in your tech. Count on Custom Computers.
Florida Auto Parts can deliver all the auto parts your car will ever need, direct from the USA and from around the world. Florida Auto Parts provides fast delivery on auto parts, and we ship throughout the Bahamas, genuine or aftermarket, new or used, and all for the best price. Call Florida Auto Parts Trusted Parts Rep on WhatsApp at 1-786-772-8777 to save on your next auto parts purchase. Florida Auto Parts, the right parts at the right price.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
We got some jokey leaders in a jokey town. A tree ring circus, what a bunch of clowns. They're joking and they jiving, man, they messing around. We got some jokey leaders, what a bunch of clowns.
Welcome back to Morning Blood here on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan with Chester Robards, who does not go around picking up people. Apparently.
Is there a
he
Chester
claims.
that goes around picking up people?
No, you said it. To drop them off at places for no reason, like some other folks around here. Okay.
Someone should open, you know how they in the airport they have kiosks and stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Someone should put their immigration law office in the airport. I'm just thinking about those two women who came and were like, no, y'all come to, we know what y'all come to do. So you could just call the law officers of whomever in the airport.
Discriminated against
airport
by,
law office.
by behaving customs and immigration.
Yeah, fight your case.
Yeah.
And we could put a judge in the airport too.
That's actually not a
Look,
bad idea.
Chester's progressive, all right?
Mm-hmm. Which one?
Me, I'm progressive.
Just use your last name.
We, them.
No one's going to get what we're talking about here. Okay, so we're going to break for news in a second, but let me just read this really quickly, and then we can talk about it after the news. So the Bahamas is joint effort, an effort to hold U.S. gun makers accountable for crimes in the region. Mm-hmm. Prime Minister Philip Davis announced yesterday that as part of a broader effort to reduce the impact of gun violence in the Bahamas, the country joined a Friend of the Court brief in the United States Court of Appeal in the First Circuit in support of Mexico, which is appealing its case to hold U.S. gun manufacturers liable for the harm caused by their products. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. The Bahamas, joined by Antigua and Barbuda, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and Trinidad and Tobago, as well as the Latin American and Caribbean Network for Human Security, which is CELAC, I think. That's a network of NGOs and affiliated professionals specializing in international humanitarian law and seeking disarmament in the Latin American and Caribbean region. The brief states that unlawful trafficking of American firearms must be curtailed at its source, the U.S. gun industry. The gun manufacturers and distributors from a single nation must not be permitted to hold hostage the law-abiding citizens of an entire region of the world. And notes that the governments of participating countries have a solemn duty to protect the lives, health, and security of their citizens. The UN, the United Nations, has shown that firearms are key enablers of high homicide levels. Okay, they are key enablers. Well, and notes that despite comprising less than 1% of the world's population, the Caribbean records 23% of all homicides. Okay, so we're going to read more about this after the news. I'm going to not put down my notes. I have quite a few. But I think people who listen to the show, and like that new one who just joined us today, the Zombieland thing, we never heard that before. I think everybody knows that Dwight Strachan despises guns, hates them, won't go near one.
Oh.
Haven't shot one, don't want to.
I'm new to this show because I didn't know that.
You didn't know that? Oh, okay. But let me tell you something. This is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life.
I agree.
Because the guns didn't do this. The guns don't kill the people.
Guns don't kill people.
It's the people killing the people.
People kill people.
Right? So what next? We're going after the car manufacturers because lots of people are hurt in car accidents. And a lot of people are dying for what they eat. So we're going to go after the food industry as well. I don't understand this. But this is supposed to make some people feel good about the fact that we are out of control in terms of crime. It's madness. We'll be back after the news. Stay with us. Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. We are streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. We're also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 and BTC Flow Channel 612. You can tweet us at MorningBlend969 or Facebook.com/MorningBlend969. Text us 422-4796. And now at 8:27, time for another check of your weather for today, brought to you by Bahamas First Insurance. Here's what's happening. We've got a front boundary still near the southeast Bahamas. That's going to continue to weaken, though, as high pressure builds behind it. Beachgoers should be alert. There's an elevated risk of rip currents along north and east coast beaches. For today, for the northwest Bahamas, partly sunny, breezy, and warm, becoming mostly fair and a bit breezy tonight. Small craft advisory remains in effect due to swells. For the central and southeast Bahamas, partly to mostly cloudy and breezy with scattered showers and the chance of isolated thunderstorms, mainly near the frontal boundary through tonight. Temperatures getting up to around 81 Fahrenheit, 27 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to 66 Fahrenheit, 19 Celsius. In your extended outlook, we're looking at mostly dry and stable conditions across the area for the remainder of the week as high pressure continues to build across the area. So for Thursday and Friday, we're expecting partly to mostly sunny and warm conditions. That's your Morning Blend weather check, brought to you by Bahamas First Insurance. Visit firstonlineinsurance.com and select a Bahamas First agent to purchase, pay, or renew your car or home insurance 100% online, or just stop by any Bahamas First agent. Bahamas First, celebrating 40 years as the first Bahamian general insurance company. What's first for you comes first for us. And we've got another check of your traffic for this morning, brought to you by RBC. Discover mortgage ideas shaped around you. In your real-time traffic, Mile Butler Highway again, heavy traffic from Fire Trail straight up to Tonic Williams Darling Highway, and we're seeing backed up traffic along Tonic Williams Darling Highway westbound to that roundabout right now. Elsewhere, Gladstone Road also busy for you just north of Fire Trail. You see that heavy traffic up to JFK Drive in the northbound lanes. Carmichael Road still looking busy for you out westbound toward Coral Harbor Road, and Blue Hill Road just north of Soldier. You'll be seeing that heavy traffic northbound to the roundabout with Independence Drive, and Blue Hill near Carmichael congested as well. Independence Drive westbound, heavy traffic there, and a bit of a delay on eastbound traffic on Independence Drive as well. The Soldier Road and East Street intersection looking very busy for you. In and out, east and westbound, and north and southbound, everywhere. So that is an area to beware of. Elsewhere, we've got Eastern Road, heavy traffic from San Souci straight to Johnson Road, westbound mainly, and Prince Charles Drive, heavy traffic, especially as you approach Beatrice Avenue, westbound. West Bay Street into downtown Nassau looking busy for you as you pass Arawak Key, and Blue Hill Road heading into downtown this morning looking busy for you, so keep that in mind. That's your real-time traffic and your Morning Blend traffic alert brought to you by RBC. Visit rbc.com/Caribbean/home story. Start your mortgage story today.
Platoon! Attention! By the left! Mark time! Left, right, in the government boots, Too many guns in this town. Yeah, too many guns passing round. Too many guns in this town. Yeah, too many guns passing round.
We're back here with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan with Chester Robards. Coming up in a few minutes, we're going to be talking about Island Foodology, a big event for this weekend and later in business. Forestry Week is here. We're going to be talking about that this morning as well. But we continue the discussion before the news about this lawsuit that we're part of with the gun manufacturers, the gun industry of the United States. It is a $10 billion lawsuit, including 7 major gun manufacturers and 1 gun wholesaler and distributor. Right? The original complaint by Mexico, which centered on whether the Protection of Lawful Commerce in Arms Act, which protects gun manufacturers from civil liability if their products are used in the commission of a crime, whether that should extend to harms caused by the criminal use of weapons in Mexico. Now, back in September 2022, the U.S. District Court of the District of Massachusetts dismissed the case, finding that the PLCAA, that's the Protection of Lawful Commerce in Arms Act, bars such lawsuits. In its appeal, the Mexican government maintains that the arms industry should be accountable for how its products are distributed and sold. Now, in his press statement, Prime Minister Davis noted that the guns used in the commission of violent crimes in the Bahamas are not manufactured in the country, but instead are manufactured abroad and illegally trafficked across borders. He said, quote, "A critical element of the government's effort to reduce violent crime in our country is cracking down on the proliferation of firearms, with particular focus on strengthening borders and entry points and on interrupting networks of illegal smugglers." Okay, let's get your reaction to this, folks. I said before the break that I think this is unusual and strange and weird. And
first of all, what is the end game of the lawsuit? To get money or to get the gun manufacturers to do what?
I don't know. I don't know.
It's symbolic?
I guess. Make it make sense to me. I guess you're feeling the same way I do.
Well-
We're not changing the attitudes of Bahamians who are gun-loving,
Lots of
obsessed.
Lots of people who do crime are gun loving.
A lot of people
Can you
who
imagine
don't do crime are as well.
anti-gun? Well, I don't.
It's oh what?
What?
Oh, it's a whole lot. People who know all about them, everything.
There's nothing wrong
Just
with
see. Oh, okay. Maybe
ski and shoot is an interesting sport in the Olympics.
You're not talking about those type guns.
Same gun.
Oh,
Do the same thing.
Yeah. Well, we were joking about this off air. It's not a joke though. It's not funny. I mean, what the UK has a major problem with people getting knifed. What are they going to do?
Right. Sue the knife
manufacturers.
The
right?
blacksmiths, all the blacksmiths of the world have to get sued.
Yeah. As you said, Black & Decker and Oster and all the ones who make guns.
Yeah.
Knives. You're going to go after them. Maybe you see it differently. Tell us, what do you make of this? 323-6232. 325-4316. 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796.
My first hesitation with this thing is the Americans can't get the NRA and the gun people to do anything. What is this going to do?
It's a powerful group. It's a powerful group, But hey, let's see what this caller has to say. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Dwight. How you all doing? And your co-host?
Doing well.
Morning.
Wonderful, wonderful. You know, Dwight, I'm 67. When I was growing up as a child, I had BB guns on top of BB guns. I got me shotgun rifle, had a gun that you could shoot pellets and everything. Everyone in my family, cousins, but none of us never took up a gun to shoot nobody or anything like that. It's the way you were trained. I was so good with a BB gun, I could have hit a pigeon in the head sitting in the tree. But never. But now, Dwight, on top of that, what they need to do, and I'll keep saying it, if you get catch with an AK-47, you can get 40 years off the top. Every bullet in the magazine, you can get another 5 years on top of that. Now, that's just for having it. But if you discharge it at someone, that's another 10 years. Until they make the penalties for having an illegal firearms stiffer, these young folks will continue to pick up. Because they can say, well, I can take 4 years for a gun. I can get bail for a gun. So they can never stop picking up guns. And you check the age of these young. What a 17-year-old to be doing with a high power rifle, AK-47. It didn't drop out of the sky. He had to get it from someone. And I'll say it again, Dwight. How some of these guns are. How much courts we have here? We got Albany, we got Lysa Key, we get all over. Do customs go down there and police and do periodically checks? These boats are coming in? I doubt it. And when they do come in, if they can have firearms, they declare it. But when they leaving, who said they are leaving with the guns going back home? Do they go and say, okay, I'm leaving, here's the guns that I brought in, I'm taking them back with me? Mail boats coming from Bimini, Abaco. These yachts coming over and over. They can easily bring guns in, and then whoever going for it, they ship it back on the mail boat. They need to go and check these mail boats when they're coming from these farmy islands. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Let's take another call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Morning, Glenn.
Hi. Good morning.
Let me see if I can make it make sense for you. Law firms are going to make a lot of money because I think you mentioned a couple $1 billion.
10.
Well, you see, so that's really what it's all about. Seeing how we could pass the money around, because inflation, it's going to eat it up anyway, no matter how much you have one day. But we need to do simply this. It's AK-47, it's called the AR-15, I think, so you should have 47 plus 15 years. And during that time, we try to rehabilitate you and see how well you are doing, and then gradually get you back in society as a proper functioning human being. But I think we just can't put somebody away for 47 years and just put them away for 47 years. We got to find a way to get something in them to bring them back. What do you think? Or you think you just got a bunch of zombies soon?
We're very close. We're very close. You've got a prize here. Don't forget, you need to come collect your prize. Right? Okay, don't forget. Yeah. 323-6232. 325-4316. 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. All right, this text here. I'm glad we're part of this gun lawsuit. The U.S. gun industry knows that they are intentionally supplying guns to gangs around the region and the world. Suing is the only way they will be accountable. Well, that's if the judge doesn't dismiss the case like it already happened. Yeah. They're appealing that decision, and likely this will go the same way. This will go the same way. But maybe it is symbolic. But what are these countries, Mexico of all people, doing about the criminal activities going on in their country? The people who are living lives of crime. I mean, crime is a soft word to use for what's going on in Mexico, right? What are you doing about that? You're saying you can't do anything because of the guns? That's what it is? And the Bahamas is going right behind that with that foolishness. Okay. Nations are being destabilized by their guns. Sure. All right. What's this? I don't understand what this is. Anyway, wasn't it the PLP that closed the gun court that Prime Minister Ingram implemented to try to curb the amount of gun violence on the streets? Well, this message here: people do go after the car manufacturers for making cars that don't have enough safety features, even if their loved ones died from speed. And people are suing food manufacturers. That's the reason why we have so many no sugar added foods now, because they were putting sugar in everything to make food more addictive. So going after the gun manufacturers is partly sensible.
Okay.
They aren't trying to get money; they are trying to get stiff regulations.
I guess to the tobacco industry too was taken.
Okay. This person says, yes, I get that guns don't do the killing, but they make it very easy for these sick, cowardly pieces of scum to carry out their murderous aims. I'm quite sure you would have a better chance of surviving or defending yourself if these homicidal maggots had to resort to knives, bottles, or their soft, puny, feminine fists. My goodness gracious, my Lord.
Take them down.
Well, I mean...
That was a colorful text.
You don't have to slide feminine in there. Just puny fists is fine, right? Because some women... Anyway. Okay, caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Yes, good morning, Dwight.
Hi.
Good morning, Chester.
Good
I
morning.
hope you're doing well.
Good, thank
Yes.
You know, why do we spend our energy and time just wasting time on foolishness? Come on. Are we not capable of governing ourselves and policing our own territory?
Seems not.
I heard this, Dwight. I don't know whether it's true, but I understand that in one of those Asian countries, I think it's Singapore or Malaysia, they have a sign at the airport that if you're caught bringing in drugs into our country, you will be executed. That is their means of dealing with this influx of drugs into their country. We have taken no steps in trying to make the possession of guns to give more punitive fines. The other day, a young man was given 2 years for stealing a loaf of bread. And on that same week or whatever, a young man was given 2 years for the possession of guns. So what are you telling us?
And a man got 1 year for bigamy, for being married to two people. But yet everybody is out on bail for murder around here. So it's very interesting what we're doing.
The COP in his inaugural initiation, he said that he would push for more punitive measures for the possession of guns. Obviously, that is not on the minister's agenda because he doesn't speak about any kind of punitive punishment, only talking about, oh, you parents, my God. So what has got to do with us, man? If we don't take back this country, Dwight, we're going to be a failed state. We're going to be just like some of those other, like Haiti in a couple of years. Because the police The government, you could buy all the cars you want. You could buy $5 million worth of vehicles and whatnot. It still would not help. You have to show these criminals that you are serious about crime, man. We've been calling for stiffer penalties from day one, and they're doing nothing. They're doing nothing for the people. So the Prime Minister seems to be jumping on any kind of bandwagon.
Wow.
What's going on, man? Rome is burning, and he's fiddling.
Oh, boy. Okay, I hear you. Yeah, this, I guess.
I just hope we don't have to help pay for the suit.
What do they call it? A friend of the what? What type of weird language is this?
Is it?
Lawyers. The country joined a friend of the court brief.
Friend of
my
the
God.
court.
This is ridiculous. Ridiculous. We'll take just one or two more calls. We got to go. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. Are you there? Good morning, caller. Okay. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. No? All right. Let's read a few messages before we go. This person says here, a car and a gun. Is that what they're saying? What? I don't know what they're saying. Dwight, AR, and a AK. Oh, these are gun talks. So that's why I'm confused. An AR and an AK are completely different guns.
Yeah, I'm not
Thanks,
sure why.
Thanks for telling me.
I'm not sure why he said that.
What? You mean the caller?
Yeah.
I mean, what difference does it make? Does it make a difference? They're
a
all
big
guns,
difference.
right?
No.
Is it really?
Yes.
Oh,
The
okay.
difference between an AK
Can
and an AR.
Can they both kill?
That's besides the point.
Oh, that's the only point that matters. The only point that matters. Dwight, guns embolden these young men to feel invincible, and when they have one in their possession. How many murder cases you heard where these young men face their victims by shooting people in their driveway, and while the persons are now aware that they are being targeted?
They feel invincible?
Okay. Dwight, let's say you are right. You and Chester get in a fight in that room you're in. Why would that happen? It'll be a fist fight. Now, let's say a gun is in the room on the table. Guess what? One of you will grab that gun as soon as possible to win the fight. No, Chester and I are not barbarians.
No,
and
we're
we
not
wouldn't
barbarians.
fight. So
I would grab the gun and hit him with it.
After I hit you with the mic. But no, come on now. Why would there be a gun in the room? Why is this gun in the room?
Right.
What is that about? Just lying? Why?
I don't understand the point.
Yeah, who put that there? Did the gun manufacturer put the gun in the room? Did that come with the microphones? Somebody went and got it, right? Somebody sought it out. Okay. Take responsibility for your actions, Bahamians. Take responsibility for your actions. Dwight, to stop the gun smuggling, stop Haitian boats from coming in. Oh, my goodness. Get rid of shanty towns holding guns and drugs and illegals. And they are all mostly coming from Haiti. Well, that's not what this lawsuit says.
Who's they what, the guns?
It must be. That's not what this lawsuit says. So which one is it? Which one is it?
Yeah,
should Haiti join the lawsuit too? Is that what you're all saying? Dwight, you think you would think that a country being governed by lawyers would not have a backlog of cases? No, that's exactly why. That's exactly why we have that. All right, one quick call and then we got to go. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, guys. How are you?
Doing well.
Good. I don't understand this. I don't. I'm really confused with this issue. The thing is, we are using not me, but the persons are using these guns here in the Bahamas. When are they going to deal with containing this? This is an issue that we have right now, a pressing issue. People are dying. People are being slaughtered, every other day. Why is it so difficult to block these harbors or fill in the leak, deal with confiscating these guns, tracking to where it came from? You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Someone has to be bringing that. There has to be a network that is supplying guns to the Bahamas. Why is it so difficult for them to solve that problem?
Because they are in high demand.
No, but they have to, and we can join on to any type of whatever this I call a frivolous lawsuit.
Mm-hmm.
This doesn't make sense. And until we deal with what's happening, contain this issue 20 years from now, I may be dead and gone. It's going to still be, and our children are still going to be murdered. You understand what I'm saying? We're still going to lose loved ones. They have to get serious with this issue, and it appears to me as if no one wants to tackle the real issue, investigating this thoroughly, confiscating these guns, and finding out who the persons are, the main network, who's benefiting from these guns being sold on our streets. You understand these lawsuits in Mexico? You understand what I'm saying? We in the Bahamas, we are suffering because of this issue with these guns. And they need to deal with finding the source of this issue, having the courage to deal with this.
Yep.
That's all I have to say. Have a great day, guys.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
So I've gotten hold of the lawsuit, and they want the gun manufacturers to abate and remedy the public nuisance they've created in Mexico.
What does that mean?
Abate and remedy. Anyway.
What does that mean?
Some of the money must going to help to remedy. But anyway, create and implement standards sufficient to reasonably monitor and discipline their distribution systems. Incorporate all reasonably available safety mechanisms into their guns, including devices to prevent the use of these guns by unauthorized users. That's interesting.
Oh.
That exists.
So it'd be like
a
code
fingerprint
would be sent.
Like you could do a fingerprint thing to unlock the gun.
So if you didn't,
and only your fingerprint can unlock it. And unless you take the gun apart and disable those things. But anyway, that's what's that. Incorporate all reasonably available safety mechanisms. Oh yeah, I read that. Fund studies, programs, advertising campaigns, and other events focused on preventing unlawful trafficking of guns. Enter an injunction against the defendants, requiring them to take all necessary action to abate the current and future harm that their conduct is causing and would otherwise cause in the future in Mexico. Award damages to the government in amount to be determined at trial. Award civil penalties to the government as permitted by law. Award to the government restitution and disgorgement of the defendant's profits. Award punitive damages to the government in an amount to be determined at trial and sufficient to punish defendants or deter them and others from continuing or repeating their unlawful conduct. Award to the government pre- and post-judgment interest. Award government cost of suit. Further additional relief as the court may deem.
Okay. Well, maybe we should go after the bullet manufacturers then. So change the makeup of a bullet so that it won't cause irreparable harm and damage.
That seems reasonable to me.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're going to leave that there. We've got to take a break. Just want to say this really quickly. You got to pick up today's NASA Guardian. This is a big story in here. The Deputy Prime Minister speaking about, 9 is about 900 down there, though, that need to be addressed. But 9 downtown buildings eyed for demolition. We're going to take action. Chester Robards writing about what Chester Cooper is saying. If the property owners of 9 downtown properties that had been identified for demolition do not take some action 30 days after receiving notice, a lien will be placed on the structures if they are demolished by the state. And the properties will be put on the market to recoup those costs. All right, well, yeah, let's take a break and be back. This is Morning Blend. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio.
Left, right, in the government boots. Many guns in this town. Hey, too many guns passing round.
When faced with an illness like cancer, we band together, and we at Cleveland Clinic in Florida have your back. From advanced cancer treatments to extra safety measures at all of our locations, we're with you on this journey for every infusion and follow-up, for every step of the way, for every care in the world. Cleveland Clinic in Florida. Get the care you need when and where you need it. To learn more or connect with a local representative, visit clevelandclinic.org/Caribbean.
Ready to save? You can put $100 into the CFAL Savings Express Plan and make sure your money keeps growing. Earn interest on your savings while you're sleeping, eating, or standing in line at the bank. Ready to invest? Start by putting $1,000 into our mutual funds and earn interest there too. Because at CFAL, your interest is our interest. Visit CFAL.com to start now. CFAL. growing wealth for future generations of Bahamians.
People, what you thinking? We want something different. People, what you wanting? We want local government. I can tell them no more slunking. We want to see it function. I can tell them no more joke. I forgot. Going down Blue Hill Road, going down Village Road, going down Nassau Road. We want local government. We want local government. We want local government. Share the love. We want local government. We got call for local government. Sign the petition and find out more information at risebahamas.net.
Get your Carifta tickets. The 58th Carifta Games is coming. April 7th to April 10th. Tickets are on sale now. Online at Carifta50.com or at the Thomas A. Robinson National Stadium, Western Grand Entrance. For more details, email tickets@Carifta50.com or call 605-4051.
Tired of paying too many bills and loan payments each month?
Shrink your monthly debt payments down to one easy payment with our debt consolidation loan.
It also has a built-in savings that pays you 5% interest.
Inquire about our debt consolidation loans today.
Call 356-7764.
Technology serves to make our lives better, so why not your business too? At Custom Computers, we've been maintaining our knowledge and relationships with top tech companies since 1987 and carry only the most trusted brands like Apple, Microsoft, HP, and more. No company has helped more businesses build reliable IT systems than Custom Computers. You name it, we've done it. Call 396-1101 to talk to any of our business experts. Find trust in your tech. Count on Custom Computers.
Florida Auto Parts can deliver all the auto parts your car will ever need, direct from the USA and from around the world. Florida Auto Parts provides fast delivery on auto parts, and we ship throughout the Bahamas, genuine or aftermarket, new or used, and all for the best price. Call Florida Auto Parts Trusted Parts Rep on WhatsApp at 1-786-772-8777 to save on your next auto parts purchase. Florida Auto Parts, the right parts at the right price.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Platoon! Attention! Fire left! Baton! Left, right, in the government boots, in the government boots. Many guns in this town. Hey, too many guns passing round. Too many guns in this town. Yeah, too many guns passing round. And every day you open the paper, all you read about is murder. Man is a shooting spree, but that don't worry me. Yes, this one have a gun, that one have a gun. Man, they go shoot each other for fun. And when the men kill the men, all that remain is women, which is then I go have me fun, which is then I go drum a gun, which is then
We're back here with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strong with you, along with Chester Robards. All right, so I'm still getting some more of your reaction to that story, and we were talking off air about, if we're going to go this route, which I think is foolhardy with the guns, you might as well, like I said, seriously, go after the bullet industry. I mean, why are they made to do so much harm? Why not? If we're going to go there. And go after the film industry and the TV industry and the music industry, because that is all that everybody's growing up on.
And we see what the bullet industry has done to the film industry recently.
Please tell me you're not talking about Alec Baldwin.
Of course I am.
Why would you go there?
I mean, I'm just saying.
My goodness. What is wrong with you? Oh, boy. Well, okay. But yeah, I mean, come on.
And that wasn't the first time, though.
Yeah, no.
It's happened
Many
before.
have died on movie sets. But from people who are children, they're growing up with violence, often gun violence, and this is all that we are pushing into our little people straight up until they die, often by a bullet and a gun. So if we're going to talk this nonsense, we'll go after everybody. because all of this is contributing to where we are, without a doubt. The music industry especially. But movies, seriously, every TV show, I mean, the top-rated TV shows are all about, every week, solving a murder, usually by a gun.
It's true.
Right? So this is a big problem. So let's not play around if you're not going to take responsibility for your own actions, right? But this is everything. This whole global society is based on crime and killing, and celebrating it, being entertained by it, every single part of it. And this is madness.
It's human nature.
Oh, yeah? Okay. Well, especially if you tell people it is every single day. So tell me. It doesn't make sense. This person says, stop dismissing everything the government is trying about guns. You are okay with suing nurses for telling a pregnant woman that she should endure the pain because the sex was fun? Texter, I really don't want to curse you out this morning because I could get myself into problems. But why would you say that? Are you insane? Are you a very stupid person? Clearly you are. What type of dumb text is this? You're talking about an example that was brought up yesterday? You're saying you support that? Because that is foolishness. Oh, God. Anyway, maybe I want to throw the text line across the...
I'm confused.
Lord, sometimes. Anyway. Do you all understand things at all? Is it comprehension? I know that. You remember, did you have to do that in school? We had a comprehension.
Pretty sure.
Yeah. And people did very badly in comprehension.
Yeah, they did.
And it's understandable because when you see some of the messages we get. So you think that was a frivolous lawsuit? That's what you're saying, what Marion Jones was talking about yesterday.
I don't think that's what they're saying.
I don't understand it. Why would you bring that up in here? Why? It was more than that, if you listened to the conversation.
I think they're saying the gun lawsuit isn't
things.
frivolous, just like that lawsuit.
No, I think they're saying that is frivolous.
Really?
But that wasn't all that was going on in that case. I don't have the energy to explain it to you. But okay, the government. What the government is. The government's not doing anything. The government's talking. The government is talking and jumping on, as a previous caller said, bandwagons of frivolous loser lawsuits that aren't going to get anybody anywhere because we're not really getting to the heart of the problem. Now, if you want to shut down the gun industry, I am all for that.
Mm-hmm.
But most of you would not support that.
It's not going to shut down the gun industry.
You're not. Well, I mean, I'm saying, shut down tobacco and shut down guns. Let's do it. But you don't want to have that conversation. No. But let's sue them to get them to... I mean, some of the things you mentioned, Chester, okay, I could get behind that. Sure.
Additional safety mechanisms?
Yeah.
I can't imagine how far that's going to go, but... we have technology to use it, right?
But even the U.S., even Joe Biden, who says he wants to crack down on this,
problem is
isn't proposing those things.
But the problem is they should bullets, like you said, should actually be more expensive than they are. Yeah. Guns are already cheap.
Yeah.
So
this text, as we go to the news, this person says here, if our crime fighters cannot intercept large sailboats filled with illegal migrants, how should we expect them to intercept gun cargoes? Additionally, I won't hitch my cart to Mexico's lawsuit. I believe that lawsuit is in response to U.S. blaming their government for allowing the kidnapping of violence against American citizens visiting Mexico. It's not a serious expectation taken by our prime minister, but great discussion. Yeah, well, there's a lot more that can be done, a whole lot more. Let's break for the news. We'll be back in a bit. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Stay with us.
Platoon! Attention! By the left! March on! Left, right, in the government boots, in the government boots.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
The views and opinions of the host and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning and welcome to Morning Blend Business on this Wednesday, March 22nd, 2023. Welcome back to our Morning Blend listeners. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan along with Chester Robards, and it is Forestry Week. And here to talk about this, we're very pleased to have back with us Acting Director of the Forestry Unit. Yes, Danielle Hannock. Always a pleasure. Good morning.
Yes, good morning. Good morning. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. Good morning, Bahamas. How's everybody?
Doing well, doing well.
Okay.
So Forestry Week officially started.
So we officially started on Monday.
Okay.
And yesterday, the 21st, was International Day of Forests. Wow. And so this year's theme is Forest and Health, like you said. And so you just want to highlight, bring that connectivity, because we don't always think about it, but forests are actually very good for our health in all ways. So yes, the clean air we breathe, the clean water that we drink, helps with pollination, yes. However, our mental health is also important.
Yeah.
So I was just sharing with a colleague, if you need to, cool down, you could walk outside and you'll find a tree because it's hot, and then you want some shade, and you'll sit underneath the tree and just, after 5 minutes, how do you feel?
Yeah.
You actually feel better. And so, this concept of, we don't have forests in the Bahamas, I want to counter that. We have forests, and we have trees outside of a forest that we use. So think of your backyard. Growing up, you had mango trees and breadfruit trees and such. And just the calmness of being able to just go outside and be underneath the tree. We don't count that as if it counts, but it does help us.
Oh, yeah.
And so our country is beautiful. We need to conserve that. And one of our most essential resources is our forests. So our mangrove forests, our pine trees, our what we call coppice, our broadleaf trees, they're all essential and they're all interconnected. So how we eat, our fish, our conch, our bonefish industry comes from our mangroves, our pine forests, our water resources is all connected.
Yeah, absolutely. And you talk about how calming it is, and we know, not so much in the summer, but definitely this time of year, it can be hot outside, but once you go under a tree, it's so cool. And
think about it. When you're outside, you're looking for shade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for shade, you're looking for a tree, most likely.
Yeah.
So in your Providence, maybe it's like a lamp pole, and you stand right in the shade of a lamp pole.
Oh, boy.
So if those who are waiting for a bus know, you look for something. And so just imagine if we had more streets that we had planned plantations of trees that actually work with the road, meaning you have enough easement and enough space for the roots and everything to grow where it's planned. Like imagine that. We love Poinciana Drive, for example, especially when it's in bloom.
Yes, yes.
That's just one example. Why not have it more areas? So, I mean, trees help us. We need to help the trees.
Yeah. Oh, boy, that's a great point you raised there. Why aren't we planning like that? Planning our Providence and our other islands like that as well?
On a macro level, this is really a land policy issue.
Oh, boy.
So I think when you come down to the trees and you're cutting down trees and you're really looking at land policy, how we're dealing with our national development as a whole. And so we know with New Providence, this is an example of an island that was ad hoc planning.
Right.
It was planned as we went. Even though there have been multiple land use plans proposed throughout the decades. Even there's a famous MIT study that was done in the 70s before our independence of the comprehensive land use plan for New Providence. It's just that for whatever reason, it was developed without that. So, but here we are. So we're really trying to, on the back end, trying to regularize how we do planning in New Providence. But Freeport is an example. I mean, that is your prime example of a planned city. And when you go there, you'll see enough easements for the sidewalk, an adequate turn off for the buses.
Yeah.
You actually have planned plantations along the road. I mean, that is your ideal. So can it happen in New Providence? Yes, with some pain. It could happen.
With some
because-
pain?
I would say
Yeah.
with some pain, because you're going to have to, it's going to cost more in the back end to then acquire the land and then reconfigure. But it's possible.
Yeah. All right. And maybe in Western New Providence,
Well,
might have some.
Well, yes.
Sort of.
Oh, look at you. Right, dive right in. Yeah. So our forest in Western New Providence, so, that has been in the news off and on basically for the last 14 months as a strong focus. And the government, what I can say about it, again, this really comes down to a policy and land use planning issue. But in terms of the government is addressing it or working to address it, especially when you look at from the standpoint of illegal, I'm allowed to say that, illegal dwellings, I would say, having unregulated habitations. Really, that's what it comes down to.
Right.
You have persons who did not follow the necessary procedures to have permitting or regulations for their housing developments. So now you could go into the whole socialism part of it, but at the fundamental part, you have persons who are living where they should not live because they do not own the land, or it's a different type of land ownership. So, for example, some of the areas that are being contested or being highlighted as quote-unquote squatter settlements, I would venture to say, look at it from a different perspective. They're agricultural lands where you have unsanctioned development happening on those lands.
Right.
That's really what it is. Because on agricultural lands, the primary use was for agriculture, not to have housing. But those who owned or who was granted those leases, which are 9.99 times out of 10, they're Bahamians who are granted those lease for the agricultural lands. The persons working for them, they then authorize, well, you could live on this land. And then it just mushroomed and bloomed and was unregulated, despite other efforts from actual agencies of saying, hey, they're in contravention of their lease, it needs to be revoked, it needs to be pulled. But this is the Bahamas, you do your job, but then someone makes a call, and then here we are. So I would say that is what that is. So I'd venture to look at it a different way, because you have businesses who hire immigrants, and they are, by law, supposed to provide standardized housing for them. And so you have to look at it from all sides. It's just not one xenophobic side.
Right.
You have to look at it from a policy perspective and be like, okay, what is really happening here?
Yeah. So I don't think it was last year, but the year before, the last time we spoke, this was around the time we saw some of the trees in Western New Providence get
it's horrible,
cut down, and there was an investigation launched into that. And where do things stand with that now? Since then we've had demonstrations. It's been a part of a lot going on.
Yes,
but
it's true.
And we found out that the area wasn't entirely protected at that time. Has that changed at this point?
So, yes and no.
Oh boy.
Okay. So yes, we have a cabinet. We got a cabinet decision to say that an area should be declared a protected forest. So that is great. So we're in the process of working with the AG's office for that. But that was just only one portion of it. So really, where all the pressure was, so that area right behind the Bacardi bat sign, and then kind of the right south of Lake Killarney. So those are the two pressure points areas. So one area is like around 750 acres. The other area is like 1,400 acres of forest. So just to put in perspective, the area that was 750, our recent calculations show that 500 acres of that have been clear cut.
Wow.
Right? So what you're seeing when you drive, you're seeing a perfect example of perimeter forestry.
Yeah.
Because they've left the perimeter, and you assume if you don't look, if you just drive quickly, you're like, oh, there's still forest there. But no. So, and then the area right behind that, where you have all of these like kind of informal subdivisions happening, you have again that where they've cleared the perimeter. Where they kept the perimeter, but they've cleared the inside. Yeah. And so you just think, so what's happening is, yes, it is partially protected. We're working with the AG's office to do that. So we would then have authorization to go in. do an assessment, and then also start to reforest the area. So that is the plan. It will take, this is the long game. It will take about 30 to 40 years for you to really see the fruits of this, because that's the average growing time of, especially of the pine forest.
30 to 40 years?
I know. Forest is the long game. When you plant a tree now, you're not planting it really for yourself. You're planting it for future generations.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think to shorten that, a fruit tree is really your best bet, because you could eat from it, and in 5 years, you'd have fruit.
Right.
So those are things. So we're going to, and I think what is needed, because New Providence land is so finite, we really need to find ways to make them spaces multi-use, multifunctional. So, and I think that is a challenge, because people will be like, oh, that's just bush. It's not doing anything. Even though it is, you have all these ecosystem services you don't think of. You don't think of the air that you breathe. You don't think of the water. You just assume, you assume it's your right, which it is, to have fresh potable water. But to do that, you need the resources to balance it.
Have you decided? Have you figured out when you talk about 500 acres, how many trees that is?
We have an estimation of that. I didn't bring that, but we do have an estimation of that. Because thankfully, we had done a baseline study for the Carmichael subdivision that was done from government. So we had done a baseline to determine how many pine trees, and not just pine trees, like silvertop palm, how many Brazilito, how many, because you have the other species as well, right? So you have the tree itself, and then you have the plants underneath it that are also essential for us. So we have a baseline that we did for that. And so, for example, it was an average of between 60 to 100 trees per acre that we determined for pine trees. And then we had an average for the silvertop palm. So that's the palm that is used for straw, for example, right? So very essential, very economic, high economic value. Again, of how many palms that would be per acre. So that was, we estimated about between 40 and 60 palms, depending on the density.
We're talking with Danielle Hannock, Acting Director of the Forestry Unit. All right, so what will being protected mean for this area? How will we know which part is, and how will you go about doing that job?
So I believe in signage, and I believe in mapping. So, and bring awareness, and you have communities around there who really want to know, well, what's happening with this land here, because I live here. And so bringing awareness, showing, so having it on our social media platforms, but also having signage to say that these areas are protected. And so that will be our goal for that area. And then you'll be seeing us doing what I have proposed once we get clearance, is to have an area that could be multi-use, meaning it could be accessible to the public, let's say like a park. But then you have areas or pockets where you'll have fruit trees and fruit plantations for the public. So think about it. Soursop but guavas, mangoes, and avocados are everywhere. But what about juju and all the different plums? You don't see that distribution anymore like you used to. So I would say that having I would say, quote unquote, peri-urban food forest would be a good blend of having an urban area, and behemoths are getting more active. They want to be out in nature, but they want accessibility that's safe. So if you have interactive stations where you have, I would say, I'm blanking out right now. But I would say, no, what I'm trying to say is like when you have descriptive boards to describe what you're doing. And then on top of that, you have areas where you'd have these fruit trees going. So you'd be like, if I'm hungry, I could go right there.
How will you control it? Because I could see some people getting greedy and raiding the trees and taking everything.
The law of the commons, right? The tragedy of the commons, I know. But I mean, but that would be community. It would have to, we would do patrols as well. But it really would be educating the public. Because I think if you have an educated public and you know what your resources are, that way they could then self-regulate. And I think that happens because you have persons who now know, oh, you mean I have to keep my mangrove and not cut it down? Okay, right? So I think as persons know, they will then self-regulate. And the best advocates really are children. So our focus is really, so this Forestry Awareness Week we're focusing on the children. We have 3 large events. We're going to Abaco and Grand Bahama, planting trees there. And then we have our big event, which is on the 31st at BFM, where we've invited all the schools, private and public, to come and just kind of have our launch. We've invited them to do video competitions. So like a short, we've had to pitch it like a short TikTok video. So where you could focus on forest and health, like how do forests help you and how can you help the forest. So we've been in touch with all the schools on the island. We've gotten great feedback and persons who will be there. So that's the 31st at BFM 9 to 11 a.m. And the goal, hopefully, if logistics work with us, we'll have nice goodies and giveaways as well for the students.
Wow, wonderful.
Yes.
Yeah. I guess I have a quick question, 2 questions maybe. Do our pines need, like some other pines, fire to reproduce?
They do. They're fire dependent.
Oh, they are. Okay.
Yes. Okay. So actually fires help them regenerate and they actually help them grow. So so having what we call like a prescribed burn is something that would go in and it helps keep the understory or the underbrush, which is really our coppice forest. It helps keep that at bay and then it helps promote the pine forest. Yes.
And also the miles and miles and miles of forest in Grand Bahama, are they dead?
No, I would say the pine trees are dead. Yes.
But, I mean, the pine trees,
Right.
Specifically,
So the forest is still there.
Yeah.
It's just change in dynamic and composition. Right. So you have your pine trees that are dead. But what we're seeing now, this is 4 years out, we're seeing
after Dorian, we talked about.
After Dorian, right?
Yeah.
So we're seeing that we are seeing some regeneration, which is positive.
Okay.
So, and that is just how resilient our environment is. It will regenerate on its own if you just give it time. And so,
pine is coming up again.
it is.
Yeah.
So it's great. So you're actually seeing seedlings that are ranging from 1 foot to 3 feet now, which is indicating a very healthy recovery, considering, especially in Grand Bahama, that had consistent, strong inundations of salt water in the pine forest. And the pine forest hates salt water. So the fact that it's filtrating out is really a good indication of it recovering on its own.
Yeah. So Abaco didn't have these issues.
Same issues in the areas that were impacted. So like in Abaco, for example, we lost just under 35,000 acres of forest.
Wow.
In Grand Bahama, and this was catastrophic loss for the forest. And then we had loss of around 70,000 or so acres in Grand Bahama, in the forest area in East Grand Bahama. So again, actually, hopefully the community in Abaco will be seeing some progress soon.
Okay.
I know when we go there, they're like, y'all can't do something with these dead trees.
I wanted to ask you. So last time I was there, the trees were still there. Are you not to remove them, or what's supposed to happen?
So what we're doing is we engaged, and it's been a process from immediately after Dorian happened to us first to engage, because we don't have the capacity to do it. So the idea was to do this public-public partnership. And so we have a company that was successful. We're working on its lease now, the final stages, so that they could go into these areas in Abaco and start removing the dead stands. So which would actually be a help, and even for the mental health too. Like when you talk to people from Abaco and Grand Bahama, they're like, I'm tired of looking at that.
It's just a reminder.
It's a daily reminder of what happened and the loss that happened, and you know, and again, this thing of mental health, right? So and we don't talk about a lot of things, but imagine if you're just able to. There are still areas in Freeport, in Grand Bahama, that you could have go in, like the Rand National Park, as well as Lukaya National Park. You could go and you could feel or experience a mature forest where you have the overstory over you, right? And you could look up and you see branches and trees, right? Yeah. So I would say that is most helpful, and just to help redefine that relationship with trees and your health.
Can anything be done with the dead trees? Can they be used?
So they're still valuable. It's actually a salvageable product. And so with that, you're able to use it you're still able to harvest resins. Well, I mean, now it's been 4 years, but anyway, there still will be use for it. So there still are byproducts that will be used and manufactured. So the company, it is mutually beneficial. It's beneficial for us because now finally all of these dead stags will be removed, and then on top of that, they will then produce various byproducts. So you could have the resin will be used, the fiber will be used, and then these will then be exported out.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
And when can we expect this again now?
So I know, but we're hoping with everything you should see action on the ground by May. So within the next 2 to 3 months. Yeah. And so that is what we're really excited to do. And so the moment that happens, you'll be knowing. Yeah.
I want to come back to Western New Province for just a bit.
Okay.
What we were seeing. So you mentioned the perimeter forest that we're seeing there. So what really was happening in the interior? Was it for coal burning? Was it
Multiple use, really. So you had the instances of coal burning, yes, but not just in that area. And so because you had extra clearing. So let's say before all of this kicked off, you had areas of illegal clearings, but they weren't to this magnitude. You didn't have basically acres being cleared a day. When this was happening, you had acres being cleared a day, where they would have an average rate, what we estimate, an average rate between 5 and 8 acres being cleared a day. That is significant manpower and significant resources. What I could legally say is that what it appears to be just clearing for persons to, as they claim for it, to have farming. But it wasn't really farming. It's to place these illegal, unregulated structures. So that's what it appears.
Wow.
I know.
Yeah.
So, and it's this balance of, let's see. What I can say is this concept of benefiting from our resources. So you have economic benefits from our resources. People say, well, I don't see it. I don't see the cash from this resource. But it's not, it doesn't work that way, right? How it does work is that you say, okay, yes, we're managing this resource, this concept of carbon sequestration, so these carbon sinks, and then so as we're advancing in this concept of carbon credits in the markets and everything like that, this our maintaining our forest is actually helping us being able to achieve that goal. Yeah. And us being able to achieve that goal from the nation, that's when you're saying, okay, now we're going to have access to this kind of funding. We're going to be able to receive this amount of money. I don't really know how much, but we're working on it. But the point is, we need to conserve or say that we're good stewards of our forests. And so cutting them down is not really helping when people are like, so you'll hear this concept of, our sovereign wealth. Sovereign wealth works when you manage it sustainably. And clear-cutting it down is not the best way to manage your sovereign wealth.
Yeah. So what can you do as a private citizen, especially during Forestry Week?
So definitely plant a tree.
Plant a tree.
Yes. And so I think plant a tree, plant a fruit tree even. That would be the best option. Even being able to, if you see some unregulated activities happening, report it. I would say that we do our best with it. I do want to give it's been a great partnership working with the Royal Bahamas Defense Force and the Royal Bahamas Police Force. We have been responsive to the claims that we've been getting in those areas, especially, and persons, especially with the illegal charcoal burning. So, these are all unregulated activities, and it is the long game. It is a fight because we, as the officers on the ground, are doing due process. It's just going through due process it make it seem like nothing is happening, but it is behind the scenes. Yeah.
Wow. I think the last time you were here, we were talking about bird watching and birds.
Wild bird hunting season. I will make a plug. Wild pigeon season. Wild bird hunting season is officially closed, effective the 1st of March. And so we have gotten some reports, I won't say who, South Andrews, that you're hunting illegally. So please stop.
This is wild what, sorry?
So this is the white crown pigeon.
Okay.
So our white crown pigeon is prized in the region. We have healthy stock of population. And so the birds that have made it this far, meaning they survived hunting season and everything, they're now resting, meaning they migrated to Cuba, typically Cuba and Dominican Republic, and now they've returned. So these birds are like the healthiest birds of the stock. So allow them to have their babies so they could keep the population going. So
did we have a boom at some point?
Did we have a boom?
Yeah. I swear I'd never seen a white crown pigeon, and then suddenly I see them all over the place now. I don't know.
Well, actually, so the effects of Dorian have actually moved them from Abaco.
Oh.
Yeah, so they kind of do this circle where they kind of go from Abaco, they come to South Andrews, then they kind of go around. But they're intelligent, so they know if there's some heat here, they actually move. And so you'll actually see more because they know there's no hunting legally in your province.
Right.
So you actually are seeing a higher population here. So, but we need to get a wildlife biologist to help us determine what is our true stocks. We don't really know.
Okay.
We have never done a comprehensive study of our population, and we need to do so. Because in the region, so let's say Cuba, Florida, Jamaica, everyone either no longer hunts white crowned pigeon, or their hunting numbers are minimal, like 20 birds a season. For us, we can hunt up to 50 birds a day.
Wow.
For 6 months. So it's concerning. But I'd rather, and this is the thing, science. Let's find out the numbers, like what is really happening. So even with our forests, that's what we're doing now. We're doing an inventory. Let's confirm what do we really have, and then you can make an informed decision.
I didn't even know they migrate. So glad to learn that today.
Nick. Now, Carl, we'll come to you in just a second. I know you were trying to get hunters to use some different types of equipment. How's that been going?
Well, we're still there. We're still there with our recommendations. The whole point was for them not to use lead bullets, because if you think about it, I don't know. Have you all ever eaten white crowned pigeon? No. Apparently, it's like the best stew. I've never had it, but you need a lot of birds to do it. But you have to be meticulous in cleaning, because if you shoot with lead, for example, and imagine if you don't clean, you'll actually have the pellets in there. And so imagine the long-term effects of eating that for your human health.
My goodness. Wow.
Right. So it's really it's for the health of not just it's for yourself, but also the environment is what we're really trying
And our
to say.
Bahamian hunters are eating what they kill, right?
The majority of the time, yes.
'Cause that would be just a complete waste. Good morning, Call. You're on the air.
Hey, good morning, Dwight. Good morning, Chester. Good morning to your guest.
Morning.
Yeah, this is a timely topic because I'm environmental friendly. I've sold a lot of trees and planted hundreds of trees, but I can't match my mom. All right?
Okay.
Yeah, and she was really a great thumb. As a matter of fact, she died from 2017, and I still have plants, and still have them, and selling them from she died. Still have them.
Wow.
You know what I mean? But the thing is, I wanted to ask this question because through the corner, there's somebody just acquired a piece of land. I guess my neighbor, somebody sold a piece of land to somebody. But I noticed, that the two dilly trees on there, they were older than me, and I'm about to be 59. And there was some other trees in the yard. They were very old, and so they were big. They
must be huge.
They have the large cambium, and so the older they are, the more carbon they offset. So I thought I heard like them some time ago discuss the fact that when property is being cleared, there's some new stipulation as to you should try and preserve as much original trees as possible. And then the fact that there's a case study of the beech nut tree in Germany, which shows how much carbon it offsets per kilogram per year, right? And so being the fact that these trees are very old, we haven't done any studies to say, well, the dilly tree will offset this amount of carbon. I guess it go by least surface area and
Look at you. You sound like a citizen scientist. Yes.
No, I'm not a scientist. I just was wondering if they're enforcing the law or they're just pushing these narratives, because I'm not seeing it on the ground here. The inner city is inundated with more buildings than trees. But some of the yards, me and my brother are actually having an argument now over a tree that's older than me and him. It's more than 3 feet wide, I guess. And he want to cut it down. I say, no. I say, I prefer to cut something off it, but I can't just cut the whole tree. But it really, where people stop and they sit on the wall from the shade. It's you know what I mean? So I look at it more like a value versus a problem to the building. You see what I'm saying? And this is where I see the problem is. These trees were actually they were on the lining of the property. They were not in the way of any building. You see what I'm saying? So people should try and preserve them as much as possible, even though he might be putting the business there or whatever. So I don't know what the law is on that. I thought you all had implemented something whereby you all would intervene and just encourage people to, save some of these trees that are very important to the ecosystem that they might be mindful of. I'll hang up and listen.
All right. Thank you very much.
Yeah, so I would say our other agency in the Ministry of Environment and Natural Resources, Department of Environmental Planning and Protection, DEPP, now any development, you truly need a certificate of environmental clearance. And so, yes, the answer is yes to your question. There is new regulation where you need any development, especially if there's impact to the environment or you have to remove a tree. That's when they call us in. And if it's a protected tree, if you have to remove it, then you must replant three trees to replace that one tree that you remove.
And you're following up to make sure people do these things?
Yeah, so our current regulations don't really give us that authority. However, we are working with the Attorney General's office to see if we could change that, where it would be mandatory, where you have to. And then if you don't follow it up, then there'll be ramifications if you don't.
Yeah.
So so right now is just the way it's currently written. If you don't have a permit to do it, yes, there's a fine, but there's no fine if you haven't done our mitigation. If we say that you have to mitigate, there's nothing that says that we could then enforce. We could just write you, but this is what we're planning on changing.
Yeah. Let's hope that happens.
Yes.
Let's hope that happens.
Yes.
All right, so we got just a couple minutes left.
Okay.
Again, your final words to folks out there as we celebrate Forestry Week and what we should be doing.
Definitely. We need trees to live and we need trees to thrive. We just don't want to just exist, but we want to have quality of life. And trees help us with that. They help us with our clean air, our fresh water, and they also help us just regulate ourselves. And so that is what we just want to focus today. Plant a tree, especially a fruit tree if you want to eat some mango or avocado or breadfruit. But help that, visit a national park, enjoy the benefits of being in nature and be an advocate because protecting them is protecting ourselves.
Yeah, I know. You know, you are understaffed. How's that looking? You getting more people in yet?
I know that was actually a comment I wanted to say when the caller was on to be like, we're doing our job to best of capacity, but that is the thing. You just keep plugging forward and, we're preparing our new budget. I'm hopeful I will get maybe 4 more persons that I could hire this year.
Wow.
But
and a helicopter.
Helicopter
or some drones at least. Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Yes. So that is the plan. And then also one cool thing is like we've signed up for a service where you could get access to past imagery. For New Providence, where it has high density, you could then start doing, so we're starting to train people in GIS where you could then use the software and say, okay, we saw trees here, now they're not here, let's go out and inspect and do it from there. So we're getting there.
Yeah.
We just need the capacity and the funding, but also we need the public support because everyone has a phone now, they're WhatsApping us, they're calling us, so that way we're able to, if we're not there, we're able to follow up.
Yeah. Excellent.
So plant a tree.
Danielle Hannock, always a pleasure talking with you. Thank you so much for being with us this morning.
Yes,
Again, happy belated International Day of the Forest and happy Forestry Week to you and everybody at your team.
Thank
the Forestry
you.
Unit.
Okay, great. Thank you for having us. Have a great day.
You too.
All right, we're going to take a break and be back. This is Morning Blend Business on Guardian Radio 96.9.
Interest on your savings at the bank? With as little as $100, you can start earning interest on your money while you're sleeping, eating, or standing in line at the bank with the CFAL Savings Express Plan. Ready to invest? Start by putting $1,000 into our mutual funds and earn interest there too. Because at CFAL, your interest is our interest. Visit CFAL.com to start now. CFAL. Growing wealth for future generations of Bahamians.
You could win your share of $1,000 and free annual memberships when you apply for your Mobile Assist Visa Travel Rewards Card. It's a prepaid visa that gives you access to travel and online shopping deals worldwide every single day. Enter automatically when you successfully apply through our Mobile Assist app. Use your prepaid visa 5 times or more, and you are automatically entered to win your share of $1,000. See our social media pages for more details. Apply, save, and win with Mobile Assist.
We're good for you. My business couldn't survive without my credit card machine from Fidelity. It's fast, convenient, and my clients love it. My sales increased, and I can track my earnings. Get your credit card machine from Fidelity today. Call 356-7764.
At Doctors Hospital, our lamp just got brighter. The Loyalty Advantage membership program now has 3 unique plans to choose from. From Lamp Prepaid with free prime care visits and service line discounts, Lamp Insured with copay waivers and zero upfront collections at the ER and inpatient services, or our new Lamp Access, a free plan that offers 10% off labs, pharmacy, and imaging. Lamp has a plan for everyone. To sign up, visit our website or give us a call. Doctors Hospital, trusted and best care now.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all of it.
Oh, yeah. All right. My beautiful islands. I tell you, if the good Lord never goes on holiday, tell me why he made the Bahamas.
Welcome back to Morning Plan Business here on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with Chester Robards. And as we promised you, we're going to be talking about Island Foodology, their farmers market, coming up this Saturday. Here to tell us all about this, we are very pleased to have with us Shakara Lightburn and Reagan Kemp. Great to have you with us. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Bahamas.
All right, so tell us about this. This is the first time you're doing this, or?
Well, this is our third market. So we have it the last Saturday in every month, and it's being held at the Project Ice building. And for those of you who don't know Project Ice, if you remember the old ice house that's in the BAIC Industrial Park, it's now being refurbished by Antonius Roberts, and it's a studio space, as well as he's offered studio space to a lot of artists there, young artists. And I think Reagan can tell you a little bit more than that. So it's just such a beautiful place now, and we just really just want to share it with everybody. We also grow out of the greenhouse there. There's a greenhouse there that was not functional for a little while that belonged to BAIC, and we now partnered with them. And we are growing out of that greenhouse, so a lot of the produce comes out of there as well. So we said, well, this will be a nice spot for a farmer's market for people to come and hang out and have a little vibe and, just buy a fresh produce and promote local artisans and local producers. And maybe Reagan tell you a little bit more, because the whole premise of ICE is it's the incubator for collaborative expression. So we're adding agriculture and art. We're making that connection there. And we will have artisans there as well. We will have live paintings. So one of the artists in residence, Brent Fox, will be there doing a live painting. So
all right, Reagan, I'll get to you in a second. I have a lot of questions for you, Shakara. So who are we? You mentioned we a lot. How many people are involved in this?
Well, it's a collaboration between my business, Island Foodology, and Project Ice. Project Ice is more of a nonprofit, and my business is more social entrepreneurship. I still have that element of community, being in that a nonprofit space for my whole career, so it's kind of hard to get that out of me. So I have to balance between making money and trying to help my community at the same time. So this is a perfect opportunity to partner with Mr. Roberts and these artists to be able to do that, to make this space safe space and for people to have ideas and bring the innovation out in them.
Excellent. All right, so I'll come back to you in a second. Reagan, so tell us about this, the artist side, and what we can expect this Saturday. Get a little bit closer to that mic there. There we go. Yeah.
I think just generally, in the farmers market, the focus is more on the agricultural side of, ICE. So we have a huge, it's pretty big, pretty extensive farm, I would call it.
Greenhouse,
farm and a greenhouse, and we have a lot of just local plants, very beautiful, natural, relaxing sort of space. And during the week, we have about 8 resident artists that work out of the studio spaces. So ICE actually happened because Mr. Roberts was commissioned to do a sculpture, this huge 20-foot tree for the U.S. Embassy, and he needed a space to work. And he found an old abandoned warehouse, and he started to refurbish it and bring it back to life. And he invited young artists from the community to just come in, use the space as a studio space. We've managed to build it up to where we have a gallery, we have studio spaces, we have events, open mics, live poetry performances. Just all of this is going on at different points in the year, and it's all essentially free for the young artists, which is amazing to have that sort of opportunity and have mentorship from Mr. Roberts as well.
Wow. Yeah.
So all of that is kind of going on.
So this will be happening throughout the day on Saturday?
So our gallery space will be open.
Yeah.
You can come and look around. The artists are normally there during the week on Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays. If you want a tour, we'll show you around. We'll show you the studio spaces, the gallery, the grounds. And yeah, everybody's welcome to the pass
Sounds
through.
great. Sounds great.
So,
All right.
so there's also, like Reagan mentioned, there's this community programs as well. There's 3D printing program that goes
STEAM
on
program.
every Saturday for kids, and there's also I do run my programming out of there. We had our Bee Buddy and crop production workshop for kids between the ages of 9 and 17. So we'll be doing that again. So there's a lot of programming going on throughout the year in different things.
All right. So tell us about the farmers market. There's a lot of things that are going to be available for people to purchase.
Yeah. So for the farmers market, we have a good collection, a nice little collection of vendors. It's about 10 vendors who coincidentally, we have 9 women and probably 1 man, but we could expand that soon. I'm always looking for vendors who are doing, young Bahamian entrepreneurs, not only young, but Bahamian entrepreneurs doing nice, interesting things with products and who take pride in what they're doing and producing on a food level as well as an artisan level. So we'll have my booth, Island Foodology, which will have a lot of produce and, packages in terms of we'll have Abaco Big Bird chicken there. You don't got to get that old chicken that's been sitting in somebody's freezer for 2 years in Brazil. That's fresh, locally grown chicken, as well as produce from all the different islands. We even have different packages. If you want just pre-order a package, you come and pre-order your package and just come pick up. We also have vendors there who are going to have, local soaps, skincare products, bush teas, landscaping. If you want to start your own farm, seedlings, you can start a little garden or something like that. Then we also have processed vendors who sell jams, jellies, pepper sauce, that's a whole host of different things.
I see fresh eggs on the list.
Yes, definitely. That's a part of the package as well. Fresh eggs, fresh chicken. And then we'll have, of course, my specialty, a live bee demo. So we'll have the bees there on display if you want to see what honeybees look like up close.
And so honey, definitely you can.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah. Of course, you have to have the honey there.
Now, somebody was telling me that with fresh eggs, the way you store them is going to be different from the eggs that you get from the supermarket.
Yeah, well, the thing with eggs is once they're not, if you have good management practices on your farm, and your eggs are clean, you don't have to refrigerate them. They could stay about 2-3 weeks out of the refrigerator. I don't know if you know, in Europe, they don't refrigerate their eggs.
Right, so I've heard.
Yeah, so in the U.S., they do that because I guess they're not sure if, the producer is actually have good management practices. So they just kind of spray their eggs with some sanitation liquid. And once the eggs are refrigerated, you have to keep them refrigerated.
Yeah.
But the ones that we have, we don't refrigerate
So just
them.
keep them on the counter at home?
Just keep them. You keep them on the counter, and they'll last. I don't refrigerate my eggs. I just have them sitting there. And especially if it's fresh and local, then it's fine.
It's amazing. Now, Chester's going to like this local wines.
Yes, Miss Carrie. She's there. She was there last market. I think she may have some issues, but I think I'm hoping to get at least some of the product there.
Oh, okay.
And there's some other vendors as well who do local wines and that type. Some more interesting.
Yeah, what type of wine are you talking about?
Yeah.
Fruit wines, local fruit wines. Some people do sea grape wines and whatever local fruit is in season. They have different wines there. Have the fermentation process.
That is pretty cool. That's pretty cool. And handicrafts as well.
Yes, definitely. Handicrafts, straw work, and some other bath items and skincare items and different things like that.
So will there be art for sale as well?
We have a booth with a local artist here, and then we'll also have a live artist painting. Brent Fox, he's one of the resident artists at ICE, so you'll be able to kind of come in and see the process, see it all come together. But yeah, we're trying to push to also have like some more small works in sale, things of that nature. It's like get the art in there as well,
Yeah.
and like have that partnership between
art and agriculture. So we get our green economy and our orange economy kind of going, making those linkages. So
Yeah.
making a good agritourism spot, and hopefully
What color green and orange make?
So once a month.
Yeah, once a month, usually the last Saturday in the month. Only thing is in April, BAIC, who's one of our partners, they're having their Taste and Tell in April, so that same Saturday, that event is also going on. It's going to feature a lot of processes as well. But after that, and some of us are actually participating in that event. But after that, we'll have another market in May at the last Saturday in the month.
It sounds amazing. Is it possible to do it more than once a month?
Yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
We have to build up our clientele, and if there's a demand for it, definitely. Because it's not an easy feat to put on a farmer's market all the time and be consistent, with it. So I just want to give people a taste, and if they like the taste, then we will increase our participation.
No. On this flyer, it says free Starbucks coffee and music. Yeah,
free. But Starbucks is one of the sponsors. So in the ice space, there's a lot of corporate sponsors. The U.S. Embassy sponsors a room. The central bank sponsors a room there, and actually Starbucks sponsors a lot of the irrigation equipment for the greenhouse that we've grown out of.
Okay.
And so they're one of the partners there, and so they're going to be providing complimentary coffee there at the farmers market.
So this is definitely the place to be.
Yes, definitely.
All right. So remind us of the times and the location again for those who might not be familiar.
Okay,
with
so we're going to be there from 8 o'clock in the morning to 4 in the afternoon. You could come for breakfast. We'll have our little sauce and stew fish and whatever in the morning. And then if you want to come for lunch, you could have, Bahamian lunch and confiters and whatever else you want there. And then it is across from BTVI, the BAIC headquarters. As soon as you turn into the BAIC headquarters, you'll see this beautiful building with all kind of art and stuff on it, and then you'll see the tents too. So you really can't miss it. It'll be right in there. Or those of you who know the Produce Exchange, the Produce Exchange is right there at BAIC, and then you'll see all the tents where the market will be.
This is very exciting. And how can we find out more information about you and your company and what you're going to be doing next?
Okay, so you could follow us on the Island Foodology Facebook page, Instagram page, and then go to the website, www.islandfoodology.com, and subscribe. And any updates we have, once you're on our mailing list, I will send those out, and
excellent.
You'll be able to know what's going on. And coming up, we're just talking about different programming we want to have in the next few months, and so if you want to get that information, we'll have that for you.
Great. And Reagan, we can come and see your work on Saturday as well, right? You
can.
Yeah. What are we going to look out for? What are you going to be putting out there?
Well,
You're afraid of this mic. You
Reagan, come closer to the
mic.
Well, we have a show up at the moment called Sacred Spaces, and we have, as I mentioned before, Brent Fox will be working on some live paintings. We have a booth with. Will they be there again? The booth with the painter.
For Big Zuma, no, she won't be here this year, but we'll have somebody else.
But you can peek through the gallery if you'd like. We could take you around the warehouse, show you around the inside, and you can see some of the work from the resident artists that work out of the space.
All right, looking forward to it this Saturday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. at BAIC.
Yeah, Project Ice.
Project Ice.
Project Ice building.
And it's Island Foodology's Farmers Market once a month for now.
Yeah, for now.
And we're looking forward to big things for Shakara and Reagan. Thank you both so much, Shakara Lightbourne and Reagan Kemp.
Yeah,
thanks for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Again, looking forward to Saturday.
All right.
All right, we're going to take a quick break and be back to wrap things up. This is Morning Blend Business on Guardian Radio 96.9.
Earning zero interest on your savings at the bank? With as little as $100, you can start earning interest on your money while you're sleeping, eating, or standing in line at the bank with the CFAL Savings Express Plan. Ready to invest? Start by putting $1,000 into our mutual funds and earn interest there too. Because at CFAL, your interest is our interest. Visit cfal.com to start now. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations of Bahamians.
You could win your share of $1,000 and free annual memberships when you apply for your Mobile Assist Visa Travel Rewards Card. It's a prepaid visa that gives you access to travel and online shopping deals worldwide every single day. Enter automatically when you successfully apply through our Mobile Assist app. Use your prepaid visa 5 times or more, and you are automatically entered to win your share of $1,000. See our social media pages for more details. Apply, save, and win with Mobile Assist.
We're good for you. My business couldn't survive without my credit card machine from Fidelity. It's fast, convenient, and my clients love it. My sales increased, and I can track my earnings. Get your credit card machine from Fidelity today. Call 356-7764.
It is time for your morning business report brought to you by CFAL. If the property owners of 9 downtown properties that have been identified for demolition do not take some action 30 days after receiving notice, a lien will be placed on the structures if they are demolished by the state, and the properties will be put on the market to recoup those costs. That's according to Tourism, Investments, and Aviation Minister Chester Cooper. He said yesterday that an assessment is required to decide which buildings will be demolished, as some have been designated as historical buildings. You can read more on this in today's Guardian Business section. Tourism Minister Cooper again contending that the Tourism Development Corporation legislation that was scheduled for debate on Monday but was postponed, and the request of vacation rental owners who asked to be consulted on the bill, is not controversial and encourages the growth of the industry through incentives. Vacation rental hosts requested debate on the Tourism Development Corporation of the Bahamas Bill 2023 be suspended, as the bill is intended to regulate tourism-related enterprises, but it lacks industry support. Cooper says the government will allow the time for that industry consultation before bringing the bill back to Parliament. Sustainable construction firm Partana will deliver 30 affordable homes made in carbon-negative concrete to South Abaco this year. That's according to its principal, Rick Fox. Fox saying the company has begun the development of a manufacturing plant at Arawak Key to ensure it delivers on its pledge to the government. Last November, the government signed a memorandum of understanding with Partana for the construction of up to 1,000 green homes over the next 3 years using a pioneering green technology building material that removes carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. And although bank approvals for new construction homes increased in the fourth quarter of 2022, the growth was still lower than the previous year, according to the central bank's data in its recent quarterly report. It noted that while construction sector activity remained robust in the final quarter of last year, bolstered by foreign and direct investment projects of varying scale, bank-financed domestic private sector activity remained constrained. In your market watch, recapping trading on the BISX from Tuesday. Market movers: Commonwealth Brewery moving 6,000 shares, closing down 8 cents to $11.25. Commonwealth Bank moving 24,397, down 1 cent to $3.58. Colina Holdings moving 1,176, up 3 cents to close at $8.53. CIBC First Caribbean Bank moving 1,000, closing down $1.29 to $11.67. Consolidated Water up 1 cent to $2.92, and Emera Incorporated down 8 cents to $9.88. The BISX All-Share Index closing at 2,452.98, down 73.08. That's your Market Watch, and that is your morning business report, brought to you by CFAL, growing wealth for future generations. And that is going to do it for us today. Chester Robards, thank you very much for being with us. Let's get the mic up there. That's on there. Yeah, there you go.
Always a pleasure.
Okay. I'll see you next week. Yes. I'm just curious before I let you go. So what the Deputy Prime Minister is saying here about the demolition of the buildings downtown. This is 30 days since when will they receive the notice? Have they received the notice yet, or they still have to determine which ones?
They have received notices, he told me. Mm-hmm. So let's just wait and see. But they're doing assessments to see which buildings actually might need to be saved. So due to their historic value. So
they received notices.
Yeah.
But they're not sure if the ones who received the notices are part of the buildings that need to be saved because of the historic value?
I guess they're just looking into all of them.
What now? Yeah. That wasn't done before they received the notice?
And we first heard about this February 1st.
So, oh God. So what?
Yeah.
So nothing's going to happen?
Well, it's a wait and see.
Do the assessment.
They still have to finish the assessment.
But you already got notice.
But they got notice.
So 30 days will pass. It's probably passed already.
You got to read the rest.